This is the regular board meeting of the Waterville Valley Board of Selectmen. It is Thursday, 2 November 2023. I am the chair, Rich Rita, and today, as usual, Vice Chair Bob Freeze and Select Board Member Wendy Rathgeber. Meeting of the Waterville Valley Board of Selectmen. It's Thursday, 2 November 2023. I am the chair, Rich Rita. Get to hear it again. Today, as usual, Vice Chair Bob Freeze and Select Board Member Wendy Rathgeber. I got the Wendy in. So we have a quorum. Why don't we start off with the Waterville Valley Resort Association award presentation?
They're not here yet.
Could not hear that without the award.
Well, then they don't get their awards, or they'll have to wait to the very. I'll put them at the bottom of the.
Yeah, get them. Absolutely. Let's get the show on the road.
Says the
I think they're
awarder.
nervous. Yeah,
We'll talk.
all right, well,
No, you and I will talk after.
it's all good.
It's all good.
So get them in here.
They're humble. Very humble.
They're humble. That's why they're getting them.
We're waiting for Jen.
Oh, Jen's coming up. She's down there.
All right, well, if we're gonna wait a few minutes, why don't we move to privilege of the floor, if anybody is here for privilege of the floor? Yes, hello, Reggie.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well, thank you.
I'm here representing the Historical Society, and we had a meeting on October 25th to discuss the possibility of doing self-guided historical walking tours.
Mm-hmm.
We met with, you were there and Mark was there, and
I was here.
Mike Vogel was there, and also Daryl Fernandez and Preston Conklin. And what we're trying to do is have a collaborative effort of getting self-guided walking tours. The Waterville Valley Foundation might have put together a couple of posts with QR codes on top. And what you do is you flash your phone on it and you open up a window and give you a text about something. And they've got two of them in place already. What we'd like to do is we have 11 potential sites that we'd like to place around the valley, and people could basically mimic what we're doing on our trolley tour. A lot of the sites are the same sites we do on that. But this would be self-guided. You can do it anytime you want to do it, click on it, and you'd have like Osceola, Mount Osceola is one of them, and we talk about the law.
You guys come in and just sit over in the corner. I'm sorry, Reggie,
Don't
yes.
just stop and.
No, go for it.
Anyway, it's an effort that we're all trying to get together on, and it would not require a lot of work for anyone, actually,
Except for us.
except for the foundation, who would be doing the bulk of the work. We Preston would be providing historical content, and Mike with the foundation would be providing us with a website and
The
putting it
post.
all together and putting
posts
the
and
posts and
signs.
the QR signs and everything too.
That-
And the
that's,
town.
yeah,
we get
we provided pictures of the posts and the draft summaries of each of the points to the board members in their packet, so.
Okay,
And if I can add, this is beyond just a historical society thing. I think this is historical society is a subset of what we're trying to do. We're gonna put some up at the Schwindy Hut. We're gonna put some at the base of Lower Bobby's for the event this year. We're putting some at the top of Snows Mountain. So the historical society is really the valley floor part of it, but it's gonna be bigger than this. It's not gonna be a lot bigger, but it's gonna be bigger, just so it's not just history, but you know, anything that we think is interesting to, I guess, to look at.
So this will be in the National Forest as well?
Yes, we have, we're working with Dave Dean and Tim on getting permission from National Forest.
Great.
They're not concerned about it. Then the National Forest pretty much is okay with putting a sign in as long as it's removable.
Yeah.
And that's, so we're gonna follow that guideline and put a post in, and if we need to take the post out, we can take the post out.
So what happens when you scan? What do you
So
get?
when you
get a-
scan, you put your phone on the QR code, a little link opens up in the bottom, you press that link and it goes to a web page. And that web page is hosted by the foundation right now.
And you just read the web.
There's information.
Yeah, so the books, right now,
pictures.
we have two prototypes, one on Pond Loop, and one on the golf course. And so when you click on it, you get a picture, What you're seeing is big, like the one on the pond loop is describing Noon Peak, Jennings Peak, Sandwich Notch, or Sandwich Dome, and the weddings. And then it talks about the pond. So we have the ability to put whatever text we want there. So we're collaborating with the Historical Society to get some correct text. And it can change too, because it's just a website. The post can't change, but the website can change.
So it's,
This was inspired by the stories of Waterville.
Right.
right,
That's what inspired this, to say we could do this much cheaper.
yeah,
And the posts are $35.
yeah. And
And
plus,
about-
plus you're
about-
reading something, it's not a,
Audio.
audio
It
narrative,
it can be an audio, it's a website.
yeah.
Once you're on the website, you can do whatever you want. Click here to listen, look at this picture, click here to watch a movie. It's a website.
Click here to read.
That part of it can be anything we want. So what we're looking for is permission to put posts up.
And then going forward, who will decide the locations?
We have
We have
the
11 locations.
11
right now.
locations.
But I mean, you were talking about more,
Every location will be coming to the board. We're not gonna, or private landowners, we could get talk to Tom about this as well. So, we're not just gonna put this up without permission, where every single placement is gonna have, landowner or town, decide if we can or cannot do it.
What organization will be the primary, have the primary responsibility for maintaining them or updating them
The
or?
foundation.
So this will be a foundation program,
Foundation is funding it, foundation's putting
right?
them in, foundation is hosting the website. And, we don't expect there to be much maintenance of these. If a post falls over, we'll go replace the post. If the sign gets damaged, we'll go replace the sign.
And so what you need from the town is
Permission.
to
put
put
it on
it
land.
on anything other than that in
Specific
terms of
location.
maintenance or
No.
cutting grass around them or anything like, just
We're not gonna
permission?
cut grass around it. We're expecting that to happen as normal maintenance.
I'd like to suggest that you get somebody to, proofread
Oh, without a doubt.
the narrative that's there, because there's some. I think there's some English narrative changes that ought to be made to,
Sure.
I'm not an expert, but
Yeah. And the great thing about this is we can put it out there. And, if we don't like the content or we're finding problems, it's just a website edit. It's nothing's physical here. So changing it is easy.
Can I make a suggestion that the posts be stained the same color as the wayfinding signposts?
As the what?
The wayfinding signposts, like
The green,
The
that
green
have the
and the
green
brown
sign.
colors, if you use those
The
colors.
directionality.
So have you seen the posts? There's one, there's
On the
one
golf
on the
course.
Golf course, it's probably the most prevalent one, is that whole 9.
Okay.
The face of the post is Waterville green and blue, so it's matching the resort colors.
Right,
And the post itself is just pressure treated.
right.
Just the pressure-
And
pressure
my
treated.
comment is on the post itself,
Yeah.
if that can be stained, because then it would coordinate with the rest of the signposts around town.
So the request is to stain it.
Yeah, if you have the color.
If you wanna touch base, we have the color code that we can give you.
Yeah, okay.
And they would all look cohesive,
Right.
with the rest
Yeah.
of the
Yeah, it's not-
wayfinding.
That's trivial, yeah.
Okay.
We're, given the weather, we're not doing anything this winter, right? So this is gonna be a springtime project. What I'll do in the meantime is get the website up. Get all the Wonder Points pages up, we can review them. And then springtime is when we'll get the signs and posts put in place.
Yeah, once you get those points up, Mike, if you just forward the link, I'll forward it on to the board. And
Yeah.
We'll review it, and if there's any input, we can let you know.
presumably we'll put the link on the town website and other places.
Eventually, once
Eventually,
once
once
the
we're up.
posts are up, we can do things like
What
that.
I'd like to do is have a map.
Yeah,
and have
create a
the
map,
posts
Yeah.
On the map, so people can know where to go.
put them at the lodges or the adventure center or places like
Or
that,
just
historical society
Yes,
bus
yeah.
trip.
I
whatever.
was hoping that maybe the Resort Association could take part in this too. They could be one of our stakeholders basically and provide a map that the resort could have also, that we could have it throughout the town, the same map you're talking about, but they've got a great marketing group, so.
Or even integrate the posts on the existing map,
Right.
just show little
Yeah.
stars where they're
Right.
at.
So something like that, I think, I'd like to get as many organizations involved in this and really take ownership of it as we can.
Nice.
The AIA has sort of a, points of interest that they put out during the winter that I don't know if this is something that we should consider
Integrating.
integrating.
Yeah,
Are you talking about, on the hiking trails, they have the wire signs that they put
Yeah,
up? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, so they're pretty interesting, they're seasonal, but it sounds like similar enough to maybe get together with them as a board and see if they wanna, integrate.
Elaborate as opposed to just having a sign,
Right,
have it go to a
Yes.
website that can tell a lot more.
Yes.
Cause you're very limited on space.
Uh-huh.
and it keeps the sign small.
Yeah,
Right.
and
And
that,
innocuous.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Charles Hastings is on our board as well as the WA.
Oh, good.
board,
Oh,
So,
good.
and he's gonna work on
And
the
Tyler
text.
worked.
He noticed that there were some. text
Mike,
problems with
you
the-
had a,
Tyler's on the
I think
AIA.
you guys lovely, I appreciate what you're doing, but I've got a truckload of trash in my car and a dump that's closed on the day it's opened before 3 o'clock, and I can't get anywhere on Sunday. So will someone open the thing up for me so I can dump my car?
okay, yeah, we'll take care of that now. The problem is that the people involved are here for an award ceremony.
Well,
That's why, but
I
She'll,
appreciate,
Point
she's
taken.
taking care of
I
that.
appreciate all that and all that, but
Yep, she's
I-
taking care
Okay.
of
thank
it.
you very much. guys.
thank you.
Continue, good work, I appreciate it.
Good seeing you, Mike.
Tyler's on the AIA board too. So
Okay.
he would be able
Yeah.
to support whatever integration happens.
Great. Yeah, I mean, I think it's, needless to say, I think it's a great idea and I really appreciate
good.
someone taking that ball and running with it.
So.
Because this
well,
was essentially,
So we
the
have,
plan.
have our placements ideas today. Wasn't really, unless, I don't think we have to do it today, because we're not gonna be pledging them until the spring.
Right, I
But,
think, no,
I think all you need right now is just the board.
I'm
the board
fine with, we're
vote
fine
that's-
with
Yep.
That
Bob,
it's
you're fine
okay
with
to do, and then we can.
on town
coordinate
property and
The
then,
specifics.
when, yeah.
Yeah.
Sometime in the spring, brief us as to where things are going. That's great.
I have a couple of the text things that I gave out to you.
No, I gave them to.
They were in our, they
Yeah,
were
they're in
passed to
there.
us by Mark, a couple days ago.
Right, and those really need to be cleaned up.
Yeah.
On the website yet.
No, but it gives a great idea of the sorts of things that you're looking to have on these, and I think it's fantastic. Good. Anything else, Reggie?
No, I think that's it. We just
Great.
look for your blessing and your cooperation. So
I think you get both.
thank you very
Okay.
much.
Very good.
Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the Resort Association Award presentation.
Didn't know it would cause a problem right off the bat there with Mr. Aronson, but hey. Sorry, Mike.
Everything with trash goes to the smoke.
We're gonna scratch Mike off our list.
No, Mike.
All right, so this is something that we wanted to do with the Waterville Valley Resort Association. We wanted to recognize people throughout the valley who do some very cool work that maybe not get recognized, and I think that they should. Waterville Valley is a spoke with many spokes. It's a wheel with many spokes in there, and there are a lot of people in the front who get recognized, and there are a lot of people in the back, whose jobs are just as important when anybody else does. Now, there are a lot of people in the department, and they're on the list, but we wanted to recognize three people that I see all the time, and being in the restaurant business and making sure these dumpsters are empty when big crowds come in, and they're always there in the rain and the sleet and the heat. They're there, and they make our job very, very easy. So we have these commendations that we like to that we're just starting to give out, and so you guys and girls are the first recipients of these. And so it says the Waterville Valley Resort Association Certificate of Commendation. On behalf of the Waterville Valley Resort Association, and with sincere gratitude for all you do, we are honored to present you with this Waterville Valley Resort Association commendation in recognition for your dedication to providing all those who visit and live in Waterville Valley an opportunity to enjoy your invaluable services. We thank you for being part of the magic that helps propel the energy that makes Waterville Valley the special resort it is. And given under our hands and the official seal of the Waterville Valley Resort Association on this 24th day of October, because you guys weren't there on the 24th, but you're here now, and it was signed by the entire board of directors for the Resort Association. So If you guys can come up, Jennifer Davis is our first recipient. What you do, so stay up here because we're gonna get a photo. You probably don't like those either, but it's too bad. All right, and Mike White
Guys move along.
is our second.
Want to use that?
All right, and then Dale Merrill. Is our third.
Tom,
And
we're gonna do it in front of the mural. That's
Yeah.
where we take- That's where.
we kind of got windy
official
and
photos.
brought two of our board members here and we'll get. you
We'll get
guys
it in the
in.
wing way.
Yeah, no, the three of you guys can. And then we'll do a couple with us in here and then we'll do some with just you guys.
The press is here.
The press is here.
The press is here. All right, and let's do one with just three of them. I'll slide in there.
That's ready, 1, 2, 3.
All right, good. Good job. That's never, you guys ever been this happy? Here we go, I got.
All right, awesome.
But we really, yeah, what you guys do, and the Resort Association felt that it was important to recognize those employees and people in the valley who do a lot of good stuff, and so thank you for all you do. And if you have a place to hang that up at home.
So my wife.
Yeah.
Should I hang it when I get home? She's not there.
Right in front of her favorite chair.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. All right,
Thank you, guys.
now please get back to work.
We're gonna yell that again.
Yeah,
Oops. Oh,
okay,
Murphy's.
All right.
thanks, David.
Well done.
thank you. All right, getting back to privilege of the floor. Is anybody else for a privilege of the floor?
You're on the agenda?
Okay. Approval of minutes for 5 October. Any further comments?
No.
If not, do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the minutes from October 5th.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Calendar review. So our next meeting is the 16th of November, and that's our 5 PM meeting. The planning board is going to have a public hearing on proposed zoning amendments on the 8th of November at 6 PM here, the downstairs meeting room. And their regular meeting, that is the planning board regular meeting, November 9th, here at 8 AM. Okay.
Roger.
Actually, let me go to Patty. Since I don't know if she wants to listen, you're welcome to listen to the financial department head update, but if not, let me go down to primary election hours and polling location. So,
Well, you've got the decision by the school board, and that's why we put it on this, so that you guys can
Right.
make the official, whenever we get the date.
We still don't have
Just-
the date.
yeah.
Yeah.
We expect it anytime.
And it's still looking like it's January 23rd.
I think it's, yeah,
It's
most-
just gotta
more
be
than likely.
finalized.
right.
Okay,
So,
we're all under the agreement, so we don't have to do this again, that when they set the date, probably the 23rd, then we can start posting around town that it will be at the school for the hours. And what hours are you
The
looking
hours,
at,
it-
Patty?
Has to be open no later than 11 AM and closed no earlier than 7 PM. So in the past, we've done 11 to 7.
Does that work for
That
everybody?
works for
Okay.
everyone. We have to do the manual counting after, so extending it later is tough because people have been there all day.
sure. And this is the presidential primary one, so you may get a
We
big,
expect a big turnout.
big
so a lot of
turnout.
counting. So 11 to 7 is what I would recommend, but we can accommodate a little earlier in the.
It sounds good to me, 11 to 7.
yeah, no, I think it's fine. This is what
Okay.
we've always done, right? On
Yep.
primary, it's the 8 hours required 8 hours.
Yep.
Thank you for the school board for the accommodation on the
Yeah.
using the
Yep.
facility.
And we'll be asking again for the March meeting, just to,
Understood.
What's the date?
Probably the 23rd of January, but it's not been set yet. But that's what it looks like it's going to be
Right during the World Cup.
during, no, well, it's the week leading up to the World Cup
Yeah.
weekend. Yeah.
okay. Right, anything else Patty would like to say on it? Any other
Okay.
questions on it? All right,
So we're gonna start
Excellent.
posting that around without bringing it back to you guys unless it's
No.
substantially different, something changes.
That's fine.
Radically.
sure. Okay,
While we, excuse me,
Yeah, go
Mr.
ahead.
Chairman, while we have Tom here, can we talk about the Central New Hampshire Chamber sponsorship?
absolutely.
Actually, just one thing
Oh,
before we, on that, Sharon and Reggie is quick, can we make sure that on the website? An election that the polling place is listed as the.
Yeah, it can't, until we have the date, we can't put.
Right, but it might be, I'm trying to remember where we had it last, it
We
might.
have the room adjacent to the.
Post
Right, so
office.
we wanna make sure that is updated.
Yeah, that'll get
Yeah.
updated.
Until we have an election date, we can't set the location for an election date that's unknown. So it'll get
I
in there.
think the polling place, there's a separate place in ElectionNet where we put the polling place regardless of.
Yeah, but it's set to the specific election.
I think there's another place that is for everything, that just has polling location.
Yeah, I looked the other last week,
Okay.
just to check.
Yeah, if you can check that. Thank you.
All right, so moving on to the Central New Hampshire Chamber sponsorship proposal. Brooke, do you want to comment on this? We discussed it at our last meeting. We had some questions.
Right, and we, at the WVRA board, Wendy, Tom and I, among others, discussed it, and the WVRA board agreed to sponsor at the $2,000 level.
How much?
$2,000 with the hopes that the town and the resort would be able to contribute as well, to get it to the higher level.
What's the goal? 5?
$5,000 is the initial
the ask.
sponsorship that we
Right.
were discussing.
So is the mountain weighed in?
We haven't heard from Abby or so far, but we did discuss it at that meeting. But they're waiting to see, I think, what our response is.
Who's waiting? The mountain?
Yeah. We haven't talked to them yet. Abby was gonna go, we were coming back to talk to the select board and Abby was gonna discuss it with her.
Can you explain a little bit of what the money is for, how that whole thing is going to work? I think we were a bit confused on that. You or Tom?
Well, it's a sponsorship, okay, for the travel and tourism seminar, which is happening, I think it was January 24th. And they're looking for an event sponsor for the, presenting sponsor. So the thought was that it would be a collaborating sponsorship that the town, WVRA and the resort could get together, sort of in unity with the World Cup coming up and looking at advertising for the WVRA for the summer. That was sort of the thought in coming together for this bigger sponsorship option.
What precisely is the money for? Sponsoring the seminar, or is actually?
Yes, sponsoring the seminar.
And we also get emails, right?
Oh, yeah, so there's,
mentioning,
all the promotion leading up to the seminar. I think, I forwarded that to you, right, Wendy? The question, yeah,
I
that
believe,
from the executive director.
yes.
But she outlined sort of all the promotion leading up, the email, and all the advertisement that would happen leading up to the seminar. Of course, you're gonna have a lot of industry leaders there. So that was the idea in the sponsorship.
Seems funny that the mountain that's putting on the event hasn't been approached yet.
They aren't putting on the event.
No, the World Cup is what I mean.
World
not the-
Oh, the World Cup. Oh, well, they're coming in as a sponsor in kind, so they're gonna have notebooks and all sorts of things there at the seminar. As an in-kind sponsorship, this would be sort of a separate sponsorship.
But we're asking them for money for this sponsorship as well, right?
We're not, but
The chamber
the
is.
chamber, this is a chamber.
Right, I understand that, but I'm saying it. strikes me as funny that the town and the WVRA have been asked to sponsor this $5,000 sponsorship, but the mountain hasn't been asked yet.
Well, they have been asked. I'm on the
Oh.
I'm on the board of directors for the chamber.
Okay.
And this is an opportunity that was presented to Abby and I. We had looked at it and we thought, oh, maybe this would be an opportunity for the three entities to come together to meet that $5,000 amount, because it is, you know, a large amount. So that's when it was introduced. It's hard to bring together these three different entities to see if we can collaborate on something. The WVRA voted at their annual meeting, before the annual meeting, to reach the $2,000 mark. That's what we felt comfortable with. So now the question remains, will the town and the resort join on at any level to try to make it to the $5,000 presenting sponsor level?
And the resort is already contributing in kind to this,
They are,
to
yeah.
this
Yeah.
seminar.
yes.
Any,
I think what we
Come-
were
yeah,
hoping
Tom?
for was, we put in, contributed 2,000. The town would do 2 and the mountain would do 1 because of their.
in kind,
Because of
and
the-
that's what I
The big
was
reason
getting
why
at,
we
right?
Wanted to do this was because of the World Cup. And we think we have an opportunity to kind of showcase Waterville Valley, not only for the winter, but also for these other entities to see what we do in the summer. So it was pretty much driven by the World Cup for this year.
Okay. Any further comments?
And it also would, where we asked, why is that not in Waterville? So it's also kind of throwing some seed down to try and get that seminar in Waterville Valley. So we have kind of ulterior motives here.
Okay. Any comments?
No, Brooke, can you tell me, I know the Resort Association, we decided on the 2,000 because that was a sponsorship level where we
Yeah.
had something.
Yep.
For that. Is there anything at a next level up at 3 or 4,000, or is it just the
I think that was
2,000 and the
it. I think it
5,000?
was 2 to 5.
Okay,
And, yeah, that was, you know,
okay.
that was the discussion.
Yeah.
I mean, my thought is that this is a real opportunity for others to reflect or we can be looked at very, you know, community oriented as Waterville Valley. And having those three come together to do something together, I think, you know, that's a good look. And I think it's healthy for the community. So I think it's an opportunity with the World Cup coming up and other, you know, tourism that happens here in Waterville Valley, pushing that, which is of course the Resort Association's mission. So I think it reflects really well on our community. For what it's worth.
Well, we're not in the tourism business as a town. I mean, the resort certainly is, and we're part of the resort, but I'd recommend we donate 1,000, let the mountain donate 2,000 to get to the 5.
Okay.
That'd be my recommendation.
What are your thoughts, Rich?
Actually, I was leaning to the 2,000 since the mountain is providing, you know, an in-kind contribution as well to equalize it a little bit more, but I take your point.
Can I ask a question? What's the exposure? What is this? I'm kind of coming in late to this. Can you describe an overview?
Sure,
really
it's
quick?
the travel and tourism seminar.
And where is it being held?
It's being held this year at the Common Man. Last year it was at the new, is it Merrill Building at
At
PSU?
PSU.
Okay.
Yeah. It had a great attendance. People are really excited in the industry about it. There's a lot of talk about, you know, we've been doing it for 5 years, but it's been kind of small. It's been building, and then last year it was much bigger. A lot of people are really excited about it. It's where the state comes and does sort of a you know, recap on the year before and then looking ahead, what the trends are. And people have started coming to it, so it was kind of gaining some traction. The mountain had about 10 people attended last year. We're really excited about it. They wanted to get involved, and that's how the branding and all that happened. So the opportunity presented itself.
Who are some of the other sponsors? You know, at this time?
I don't have that.
Who were there last year?
For the presenting sponsor, it was a bank.
So is it the only one sponsorship?
No, there's lots of sponsorship. This is where I'm just talking about the presenting sponsorship. here.
This is the
It's
highest
like
level, right?
Several, like Roper, for example, is sponsoring a centerpiece, you know, there's tons of
Yeah.
the other levels that you sponsor. This is just the,
Are there booths?
yep.
Yep, there are booths.
Will we be manning a booth then as part of this?
Yep.
So that's the Waterville Resort Association or the Chamber of Commerce? Or both?
Well, not the Chamber of Commerce, the Resort Association be there.
Well, and we'll have a booth.
Yeah, and they can represent the town, of course, and the.
And the resort.
The resort.
Yeah.
since-
And it's the pre-event marketing and
Yeah.
advertising that's also out there. The name Waterville Valley will be the presenting sponsor in everything that is distributed prior to the event.
Right, and that's the
So-
big thing, and then
And that's the
emails
biggest
leading
part,
up,
yes.
where be able to design,
Yeah.
have input as to what's in the emails to help promote Waterville Valley
Yeah.
as
Are
a
there
whole.
other ski resorts there as well?
There was not last
Or
year.
not last year?
No.
Is it, and it's always in this location, in this general graphic?
It's the
calendar?
Central
Central
New
New
Hampshire
Hampshire
Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
Mhm.
Wendy?
Well, I'd be, I mean, assuming we have the ability to have the $2,000 at our disposal, I would think if the mountain agrees to contribute 1,000, then we could contribute 2,000. And if they don't, then we don't. Sort of my thought.
Okay.
Because if we're doing $4,000, it doesn't gain any additional exposure.
Right.
Right, we need to
So
reach the
there's-
$5,000.
5,000 for the
dollar.
additional exposure, so I don't see the. I mean, of course, it's good to support the chamber, but looking at it from a more pragmatic standpoint.
Okay.
If all three aren't in, I'm not sure just two should be.
Okay. So I think we have two for 2,000 and one for 1,000. Any more comment you'd like to make?
No,
on-
I'd say we'd give $1,000 if the mountain gives their 2,000 and to reach the 5, that's what
Okay,
that's my vote, but.
so do we need a
You need-
vote in the? No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, sounds like we need a vote.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would like it.
okay.
In either case, whatever.
It would be a vote. Okay, so if I can do this correctly, I would like to make a motion to support the Central New Hampshire Chamber of Commerce sponsor proposal for the seminar on 24 January, with our contribution being 2,000 in anticipation that the resort would add 1,000 and that the Resort Association has already agreed to provide 2,000. Is there a discussion? First, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so discussion? Yes, I see,
Can I
Mike.
suggest that you change the motion to have a motion that would provide up to 2,000. That way, if the mountain comes back at 2,000, you can then order Bob's wishes of 1,000.
Or 1,500, maybe the mountain will come up with
Right.
1,500.
So I would rephrase the motion as up to 2,000 to meet the $5,000 limit. Because if the mountain puts in 4, you're at 6, you guys are now committing 2 more. And you don't want-
Well, I don't think we would, but I think we will be telling the mountain that the town, if this motion was approved, would put up 2,000, so that would leave them with the remaining 1 plus an in-kind.
Right, but I think Bob's point is that he'd like to see the mountain put in 2,000.
Mhm.
So if the mountain.
Bob,
puts in
do you have
2,000, you have a
Comment
motion-
on the motion?
You have a motion here saying.
Amend
you're agreeing with
the
2,000
motion?
too.
I think that makes sense to me,
Right.
amend the
Okay.
motion, but I'm not sure who's gonna ask the mountain for the 1 versus 2, I mean, who's,
I think they'll just come in with the,
I'm here, I can do that.
okay.
okay,
Just.
All right, we know,
2,000, and I understand
All
what
right.
the intent is.
okay. Wendy, you're fine with the up to, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
No,
No, okay. The motion passes.
All right.
Alrighty, anything else you have for us, Tom?
I think you said goodbye.
I think Tom is leaving. Is that it? Nothing else for us today, Tom?
I think I'm pretty good for today.
Alrighty,
Thank you.
thank you.
Good
Thank
job.
Appreciate it. Tom.
Thank you for honoring our
Good luck.
employees. All right, now to the more mundane financial update. I don't see Steve, so I imagine you will be Mark providing any questions to
Well,
the,
if you have questions, there's
let's start how we
nothing,
usually do.
nothing on there that is, anything that is ahead of percentage through the year is timing on payments. Collections are tracking pretty well. I do know that the recreation and parks numbers that are shown here, there are some outstanding deposits that have not been brought up fully yet, so there is some additional revenues at the rec. But we will work with, when Steve gets back, we'll work with him. Brooke and I have already gone over it. So she is tracking pretty much on track for the year.
What about on the revenue side? What about grants and state revenues?
Yeah, that'll be significantly under collected because we are not going to get the largest grant for the protective gear at, with public safety. But those are, it's okay that we're not getting the revenue because we're not expending any money.
Right, that was always a net
It's an offset.
balance.
So
one,
there's
right?
no impact
It doesn't get added to
on the budget.
budget if it's not
overall.
added to revenue, right?
Now, did that get changed? Because when we did the update in September, so originally the budget was 210 and we updated it to 260, right? So is that a recent thing that it was changed? It seemed like we were anticipating there to be more.
Which
This is the
State
state and federal
and federal
grant, so we went from, we added a 50,000 to the last.
there were new grants that were in there. That things like the firehouse grant and things like that. So there were small grants that we have received throughout the year that we reflected on the revised revenue
So have
report.
those just not come in yet?
They have not. Some of them have not,
Okay, but
Yeah.
they're expected.
but they are expected
Okay,
before the end of the year.
But we're still gonna be below the,
But we will be significantly below.
Below, because
Because
that was
we
a
are
big
not,
chunk,
we are
that
not
one.
gonna get the $110,000 from the protective gear grant. We're not going to get the $50,000 from the
Mhm.
remediation on Snows Brook.
no, we're not.
No, we're not
they
gonna
have
get
not
that
moved
during
this year.
twenty
Oh, I
twenty-three.
understand.
Yeah.
I
Because
understand.
the Forest Service has
It's
not.
moving very
moved
slowly
their
on that one. Yeah,
Approvals, so the money is still available, we've confirmed that, but we will not collect it by
this,
December.
this fiscal
31st.
year. Got
But
it.
again, it's okay because we're not gonna
Spend it, right, it's a net,
in
net
those,
balance.
so the
Yeah.
net is zero.
Any other questions on the financial report, expenditures, revenue? Wendy, had something else?
Just more of a curiosity, and perhaps I missed something, the investment account interest.
Yeah,
There
that's
again,
it.
we'd
That's
increase.
In revenue?
That's a book, it's got to be put into the system. It's
Okay,
there,
okay,
but
so
it
it's there.
hasn't
Gotcha.
been reconciled.
Okay. Nope, I'll go ahead.
Anything else?
That for me.
Good, good. All right, so done with the financial report. Department head updates. Saw your article, chief, in this month's Wigwag.
Yep,
Great. Very
Yeah, I-
informative, very, very clear.
I was just trying to, just trying to clear up some confusion. I was fielding a lot of questions, phone calls, one side versus the other type of, issues when it comes to, chimney inspections
Mhm.
and that sort of thing. And it's a town-wide issue that all these associations have to deal with. So I was hoping to kind of set things straight a little bit as far as our role in
in the whole process.
I thought it was very clear in
Yeah.
that.
And to kind of give some of the property managers a little bit of help as far as answering a lot of their questions that we have. I plan on doing another one as far as for the next biggest question is EV charging. And
Yes, that's come up a number of times.
multi-unit. I'm gonna release a similar letter just based on our recommendations.
Right, there's no state,
There's no, I mean, we still have to
Standard, right.
follow the NFPA and the electrical.
it's
code,
there, right?
but, there are some certain things that, you know, we would like to see based on, you know, the age of our buildings, the occupancy of the buildings, our abilities to fight these kinds of fires, that sort of thing, that we can
Mhm.
make an overall recommendation that, you know, if you have garages, you know, I would like to see them be charged outside, you know.
But we can only make that a recommendation,
only
right?
Recommendation.
We can't have a town, and even in silence on part of the state, we can't be stricter.
We can enact an ordinance if we feel that it's an issue. We have a handful of these types of condominiums that do have garages, majority of them don't. My biggest recommendation is to push for pedestal charging stations and all the associations and start looking into, you know, that way, and the number of programs that are out there to help them do that.
For them
Yeah,
private
ideally,
citizens, right?
That's the ideal recommendation from me. And hopefully, like, you know, those other recommendations and reminding people they still need to get building permits. And so we feel comfortable that when they are putting the in-home chargers in there, that there's a capacity there, that it's doing so safely.
With the car in the garage.
Yeah, it's not like just a car in the garage, but many of our condominiums were only 100 amp service.
Right, when they
You know,
what,
so-
220?
So it's not made for, you know, a constant, you know, the standard is 80% of your capacity. And most people will reach that by running a microwave, turning the
Dryer.
oven on, and
The
putting a
dryer would be the big one, right?
you're at 80%. So not to mention if you're plugging in an EV charger, then you're maxing out the system. So, and there are certain ways that I can recommend. There are charge meters where they can sense the draw of the overall system and reduce the amount of charge to the car
Right.
to kind of to meet that. And that's a recommendation that if you're going to put these in your home, that those be put in place to be able to meet that. So I'm still getting educated on it myself, trying to educate myself. So I'm just kind of doing my research before I do that, but hopefully in the next month or so,
Right.
I can get that out.
And the planning board at the same time is working on zoning amendments to account for EV and EV charging stations and parking, as well as possibility of commercial EV
Yeah,
business.
But that's not, is it for this year?
It is the zoning amendment, one of the 5,
Okay.
I think, zoning
All right.
amendments for this year.
well, okay, it's a delicate balance. You want to encourage them to do it, but my point is yes, I want to encourage you to do it, but let's do it the right way and let's do it safely.
Well, if the zoning amendment looks like it has support, I think there should be a selectmen's ordinance drawn up to be on the warrant.
Yeah.
So that we have enabling regulations.
Let's look at the
so that
language
if they're gonna be
and
allowed, then your concerns need to be addressed.
Sure.
And if the state law is pretty silent on it, then we can basically do what the town wants to do.
all right.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at the language in the amendment. I think we're having it could change. We have the
That's
hearing
right.
on.
So
on 8th of
let's wait
November.
till the 9th,
And
see
then
what
what the
goes
planning board
through, what the planning board
recommends.
recommends.
Sure.
And then, if it looks like it's going to get support, which I would imagine it probably will get support at town meeting. then we can look at what we need to do for regs.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, fair enough. Yes, Mike.
A question and a comment. When you say not in garages, is that for condominiums or for?
For condominiums, only multi-unit.
Okay.
Yeah.
My comment is if you want to make the wigwag, it was very timely
Mhm.
for the November, or for the October edition, but we got it too late. So
Okay.
We need by the 20th in order to be able to make the next month's edition.
You got it.
So just keep that in mind.
Thank you.
For anybody who wants to contribute, not just.
So you were referring to something that's in the latest wig that just came out?
Well, on the fireplace and
Yeah.
chimney inspection, that it was a full page in the November wigwag, and we can do
Right.
something like that for EV.
And I thought
And
you
the-
wanted that in the October one, so timing was, and you were about 5 days late.
That's okay. I just kind of sent it out. I made sure it was. As I was answering the questions, we felt it needed to be sent, so.
On any of your other multifarious duties?
No, we're just wrapping up our inspection season. We've got pretty much everybody, their initial annual inspections, life safety has been done. We're now just wrapping up all our re-inspections. Now we've got town square next week, so we just did the mountain this week. Just a few items hanging out there, but looks like the green light for occupancy permits can go out for them. I did approve 2 fireworks permits for the weekend of November 25th. I know that's usually the turkey plunge weekend.
Right,
Santa
Thanksgiving, yeah.
Claus, Thanksgiving, and the December 31st, New Year's Eve shows. We did fire prevention week before last at the elementary school. We held a game show with them, which was a lot of fun. And Patrick shared with Mark the numbers
Yeah.
from the signed speed boards.
June 1st to
Yep.
November 1st, we had 130,875 cars at the Triple I Road intersection. That averages out over the approximately 150 days to 872 cars a day. A good piece of news that the numbers are showing us is we're running between 95 and 97% of cars that are 40 miles an hour or under when they first are picked up by the board.
That's flashing in. What was that number
So,
again, the percentage?
95 to
95.
97.
Wow, okay, great.
So the first half of it was 95, the second half of it was 97. During the second half was our construction time on Valley Road, so that probably had something to do with it.
Right.
But it's still a very high number. And for the early days when we did not have any signboards up or anything, it's still 95%. So folks are, it's not an out of control thing as far as Patrick's concerned. So
Do
Okay.
most people slow down? Can we tell?
it
from the
does
data?
not, the data does, it's that initial,
Hit.
when the board picks up the car
Uh,
is what it records.
Okay, because it picks it up pretty far out.
If it's a
so
single.
Yeah, it is.
number,
It's-
It will
yeah.
pick it up very far out, but if
Yeah.
it's multiple cars, it will pick it up much closer.
True,
Yeah.
right, right.
Because then once that next car passes, it'll then pick up the next one.
But it doesn't
So-
differentiate when it is picking them up.
Yeah.
So, but
Interesting.
those are, I mean, we're very busy, almost,
Right,
between 850 and 900 cars a day.
Right.
On average, so, our peak days are gonna be much above that.
Sure.
And, the slow times like now.
Right. and we still have no
Much
way of
less.
knowing whether they're going straight or making that left down
No,
to
we do
Triple
not.
I.
No.
Hmm.
We will work with North Country Council
Mhm.
to get some traffic
Over on
counters
Triple I.
implied on or installed on Triple I
Yeah.
Road.
That would be very
So
interesting.
that we
Then you can
can-
overlay.
We can overlay the
Yeah.
two numbers,
Excellent.
try to tell how many people are turning. They do have some radio frequency radar type counters that supposedly they can use in the winter. We need to talk to them to see if we can get
Mhm.
those set up.
I imagine it'd be pulling putting away the mobile speed
Yeah.
sign
Yeah, we
soon.
do, so we'll park that we can break it out during some of the vacations, depending on the weather.
Mhm.
The weather's good, we'll use it, but if it's starts to get nasty, we try to put that thing away.
Yeah.
Because of plowing or what?
Yeah, because of plowing, then we just have to make sure we give them enough room to plow and. I mean, it's pretty weather resistant, but more keep it away from salt, the better, I guess. We'll be sensitive to, whenever, Public Works is ready to pull the bollards and the signs and stuff to, we're gonna have patrol, just
Mhm.
make sure they keep an eye on it and then just kind of monitor what that change is like. For people traveling.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
talk
we've
more,
got
we can talk.
we've got that coming up. on-
Yeah. Oh, so that's coming up again later.
Yeah, there's another agenda item for the road.
The only other thing is Amanda Phelps will be graduating the police academy
Hoorah.
on November
Great.
17th.
Hmm.
So we'll be good. She'll be
Sprained ankle and all.
healed ankle.
Healed ankle.
Yeah.
again?
Amanda Phelps.
Great.
So she'll be in, she's still has several weeks of field training to do, so, but we'll at least have her here. To do that.
Excellent. Anything else on police or EMT of note?
Can we get a headshot and a fire report?
Sure.
Well,
Yep.
We brought another per diem person on board.
Yes.
We're in the process. of
On
doing that. They're not-
police or EMT?
An EMT.
EMT.
Yep, so just part-time per diem staff, he works part-time, per diem, retired military, guy member, and, wanted to kind of spread the wealth a little bit, so we were able to convince him to come up and put an application up with us, so. He'll actually hopefully be starting this week, I think, so,
That's good.
yep.
You know, I'm curious, how do you balance out staffing for, say, a weekend in January when there are hockey tournaments and the valley is busy, but there's also skiing and potential injuries, so the ambulance has to be up there. How do you balance that staffing so there's coverage in the valley as well as for the ambulance?
We only allow one emergency at a time.
Oh, good. Oh, good. That's nice.
We don't answer the phone after the first emergency until we've taken care of it.
That's a joke for anybody
That's
in this
a-
video. Insurance company, we do.
Yes, we do respond to all of them,
Yes.
yes.
So we do supplement with our per diem staff and part-time staff on those busy times. And try to get those with that other full timer now, having that other person.
Yeah, yeah.
That's an extra body that allows us, so. Our goal is a minimum of 3 staff members on during the day. At least, and into the evening, because if that ambulance rolls out of town, that's 2 people
Right.
that's gone. So we don't like to leave the town bare. We at least like to leave 1 person in town at all times.
Right.
Whether it's another medical, and then if it's another medical or fire call, that's where our mutual aid system kicks in, so that's where we rely. So that's why occasionally you'll see. Campton's ambulance, Plymouth's ambulance up here, maybe a Campton fire truck. Because if the two guys are on duty or in the ambulance and there's a fire alarm. Or an accident, you're probably gonna see another mutual aid call.
Right. No, my concern is also just that, you know, not that I'm being pessimistic, but without the bollards up, for traffic calming and the wider roads, I'm just concerned, especially an initial winter going into this new road fit out, perhaps we need extra.
Yeah, we always try to keep extra patrol on, so we try
Okay.
not to rob patrol for the ambulance.
Okay.
So that way we're not. You always have that police officer in town
Yeah.
to handle those types of, and once the emergency's over, they can go back to patrol.
Sure.
You know, they can go back to doing what they're doing. A lot of times does that happen? No, they're up there helping us because that's what they do. You know, we may be, depending on the kind of patient that we may have, or the type of call it is, it may be all 3 of them, on the call. But whenever they can clear, and if we can only take 2 people, The advantage for us a little bit is ski patrol is a number of our members who are on ski patrol. And we worked it out with ski patrol that if we need one of them, we will take that with
Gotcha.
us to help supplement, so.
But once the ambulance is out of town, we're rolling mutual aid anyway, because we don't have any way to transport.
Sure,
So,
right, right,
so that's all that.
okay.
Engine one is set up for a rescue, so that if there is a second call, that other staff member can take the engine, and it has at least the AED, the monitor, and basic life safety, oxygen and all that stuff to be able to go to a call and at least
Take care
administer
of somebody, yeah.
Until mutual
the
aid.
ambulance shows up.
If a fire truck rolls like engine one or the ladder truck. How many people do you really need on each of those to make it effective? I mean, I know you can drive it with one guy driving, but
Yeah, it's minimum of two, minimum of two people. You need two people if you're going to be, answering any of those calls and for safety, really. A lot of times if the engine already rolls, the ladder truck is second due. The ladder truck, a lot of times, maybe just one person. For the time being, smoke in the building call or an actual structure fire. It's gonna be the first three and then the call goes
Mutual
out
aid.
and hopefully Mo Rivers, they meet us there and we'll already at least have the first two pieces of apparatus there. So the more people that we have, we've been fortunate, having like Chris and Jeff during the day too. It helps us, especially ISO just reached out to me 2 weeks ago. Because they're finalizing their 5-year annual evaluation and they wanted. They picked 25 calls and what they were interested in is how many members responded to those calls. And they look at ideally, NFPA says 4. There isn't a town our size that respond with 4 in a fire truck to a call. It just doesn't happen. But they look at, minimum standards when they look at our ISO rating. That's just one of the components that they look at.
how many people do we have that are certified as firemen?
We have 8 full-time and now about 13 part-time, and I think only 2 of those are not firefighters yet.
And that ISO rating is important
But
to
part-time is
townspeople.
not available, not like a call force where those people are in town
Right,
and can respond. That includes our per diem
Mm.
people who are probably members on, full-time members of another department.
Yeah.
So they're only here when they're here on a shift. But at least we've had times when the per diem numbers were extremely low.
Yeah.
You know,
We've been on a
2 or
campaign
3.
to
Yeah,
bolster
so
that. We've actually been very lucky the last 3
Exactly.
months. Andrew Howe was in the process. He's one of the coaches at BBTS. He's a
Yeah.
paramedic. Was a career firefighter, down in Derry, Londonderry. Is now a coach up here, has a certification. We're gonna bring him on so they have another paramedic in town. Will be great. Jamie Tuttle lives down off of 6 Mile Bridge. He's up at the mountain, plus ski patrol. He's been, really important for some paramedic intercepts when we needed a paramedic. They can catch him out on the way out of town and he can jump on the ambulance and go. So we've added some pretty high level of care. And some local people, which has been pretty good. So.
yeah, I just didn't want to give the impression that we had 20.
No, there wasn't, yeah, there's definitely not.
Call.
I guess I was wondering, we have 3 fire trucks, I was wondering whether we would actually ever have the ability to run all 3 fire trucks to a fire.
We do.
Yeah.
I mean, we have in the past run all 3.
Our initial response? No.
Right.
Okay, but if we have a structure fire, all those other personnel plus all the full-time guys.
Yeah.
Then
They
their
come in.
truck's gonna be there.
Yeah.
Anything else for DPS? Chief, anything else? Police, fire, EMS, building permits, inspections? Anything else you'd like to talk
We're getting
about?
through 'em. We're getting through 'em.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yep.
Brooke, Parks and Recreation,
Yeah.
or is it Recreations and Park? I'm not sure.
Whatever.
It's
It's.
Rec Department.
Yeah, it's rec department.
It's Rec Department.
It's Parks and Recreation is typical, but we would say recreation and parks.
Right.
So Halloween was great. We had 100 kids, and
Wow.
they're adults. And so it was another successful. We got really lucky with the weather again. That keeps happening. So that was really nice. We have Wilderness First Aid class coming up this Saturday and Sunday. That's being put on by the AIA, but we are hosting it in our gymnasium. So, the rec department will be having their normally scheduled program this weekend. However, Tyler will be taking folks on a hike on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Where is it this,
You know, he hasn't told me.
Ah,
He is out today and tomorrow and leading it on Saturday. Sometimes he waits to see how the weather shakes out.
Sure.
And sort of determine or who's going and what they've done before. So, you know, there's a few people already signed up. We are hosting a Get Fit and Strong class right now. It's an 8-week program. It's been really successful. We have, I think, 11 people registered for that. So that's an awesome adult fitness class that we've been able to host on Wednesday afternoons. Probably will continue with that if the interest remains.
great.
I will be at a conference November 13th through 15th for a financial sustainability certification program for Parks and Recreation professionals. That's just down in Concord. There's a Veterans Assembly at the school at 8:30 a.m. on November 8th. That's a Wednesday. So, because there's no school and we on Friday. So that
Friday's the observed day, I believe,
Yes.
for Veterans Day,
Yeah.
and Saturday's the actual
and
day.
and then
November 8th at what
Yes.
time? I'm sorry.
8:30 a.m. in the gymnasium on Wednesday, November 8th.
Friday.
No,
No.
Wednesday,
It's-
the 8th.
It's
Oh,
on
you're doing it on Wednesday, even though
Yes.
the holidays, got it. Sorry,
Yeah, there's no school on Friday.
that's right. You just said that.
And then also, I just wanted to let you know the PTO Harvest Dinner, which I know is very popular in the community, is happening at the rec department. Initially, they had wanted to move it to the conference center, but it's being moved back to the rec department. And that's on November 15th. You'll have to get more details from the school, but I just wanted to sort of make that announcement here.
That is in the where.
Oh, good,
It wasn't.
Yes.
great. Great, well, that is all I have.
Any questions,
Nope.
Wendy, Bob? None? All right, thank you very much,
Sure.
Brooke. Slide over to DPW and Megan. Anything going on?
No.
Nothing at all. Well, there's some updates that will be in the business down below. But as we leave fall, go into winter, we're gearing up for winter. We already have a plow truck put together. Thanks to Jason and his diligence. We are going to try a new material on the roads this winter to encompass within the sand. It's gonna be a 3A stone. It's a small stone. It's supposed to help salt stick better to the roads. So we're gonna try that out. It's had some success in other towns throughout the area. I was talking with the DPW director, interim DPW director of Alton. He's had really good success with it, so we're gonna try it out here to hopefully reduce our salt usage overall. Also, as we gear up for winter, we attended a plow safety course, through our insurance. And thank you to Brooke for letting us use the rec department bus to be able to get there and transfer all of our people. We took all the blocks out of the pond initially on Thursday, but we started on Wednesday, went in till Monday. Because we had the engineers come out while it was drained to get a more accurate elevation level for the future pond dredging.
No bodies, cars,
No, nothing like
nothing
that.
popped up in the mud.
Lots of
Nothing has
catch.
happened since 2009.
But DPW was able to fix a lot of the flashboards and everything like that.
Great.
So it is good to go for the next 3 years, hopefully, unless there's a break. Did not.
And we got a working bubbler
They do have a working bubbler, been in contact with Tim.
She's been talking.
about this,
So-
making sure the scheduling, yeah,
He
okay.
just hopefully will let me know when they decide to take water out of the pond, but as of right now, they're not looking until end of December, January, if anything, to start with that, so. And then everything.
The river's still flowing pretty well.
Yeah.
Good.
They have plenty of water right now.
I actually had a little question. I noticed when you're doing the work on the bridge and all the blocks were out. That weekend, there also happened to be a bunch of younger men around doing some fishing and whatnot. And one of the hatches was up out of the bridge. There are those two.
Covers. The
Yeah.
cover.
Yeah,
where
That's
they-
what they are, yeah. Is there a way to kind of connect them? So I just, it's like kind of like a gaping hole there and kids running all around. And I just had this vision.
on the
of,
bridge.
Yeah, someone slipping down through. I know it can't be like whatever, I know it needs to come out. But is there a way to kind of secure them so some
Possibly
random person
lock
can't
it
just
so they
pull them
can't
up?
just pull them up.
Yeah,
We could definitely look into that. I'd have to look at the requirements for the dam itself.
yeah, or even just like chain them so they don't like get tossed down through there. Not
It's
that
a-
I'm suspicious
It's a
of,
regular issue that we deal with on the weekends,
yeah,
is they find it popular just to pop them off and.
because it's quite the look
So,
look
and a lot
down
of
through
times
there
they
and
don't
see
get
the
put
water.
back, or they throw them down.
Yeah, I was envisioning that.
We'll definitely look into that and see what we can do, make
Cool.
sure it's within regulation.
Anything else, DPW?
All my other updates will be a little bit.
Later on, okay. You guys be taking up the benches soon, I take it?
Yep, we have plans to be taking up benches and everything like that within the up and coming week.
Mhm.
And we have to change out the icons on the sign to the
Mm.
winter.
Get the winter
icons.
icons. up,
There's,
right.
there's a few more pre-winter maintenance items.
Remind me, who's responsible for the wine barrel, the planters? That are,
Dreamscape.
do they go, I noticed they pull flowers up, but they're gonna go back and
Yeah.
take up
They
the
are. They are the responsible.
party. Okay, just wanted to confirm that, great. Anything, Bob? Wendy, are we good with DPW? All right. Administrative,
Yep, collections are going well for the two billings that went out. So. thank you
what's
to
the
those
water,
who are-
sewer, trash? and
Water, sewer,
tax?
trash, and then the tax.
Property
bills.
tax.
Yeah, property tax bills, so those are going along well, a lot of big deposits, so that's positive. What else? I can't think of anything in the office. That we have, really. We are working on the position advertisement for the CDL driver.
Right,
So Megan and Steve have been working on that.
Yeah, it should be posted by the beginning of this coming week.
And
Great.
we have a couple of administrative items that we're working on with contracts for 2024. Just to get the budget numbers so that they can be included in
Right.
the budget.
and before I forget, we didn't talk about it in our calendar review, but we still looking at the last week of November for budget discussions?
First week of December.
First week of
Full
December.
week of December was.
Is
the
what
week
is that what
we're
we settled?
scheduling, right?
Yeah, let's confirm, I know we had
I'm
some back
leaving
and
town
forth,
on that Thursday,
so the first week
Okay.
of this.
Would it-
December,
7th, I'm leaving town
Yeah,
in the
it
morning of the
starts-
7th.
so December 4th is the Monday.
So the 4, 5, 6 would be the days, is that okay?
Yeah,
Okay, so we'll target the 4th, 5th and 6th.
Right, I have it, I have right,
Wait. Sorry,
December,
December.
oh, December. like-
For our budget.
More specific, yeah,
personnel and budget discussions for 2024.
Yeah, the CIP subcommittee finished their work yesterday and they'll be presenting their recommendations to the full planning board on the 9th so that we can incorporate that into the budget.
Yeah, no, that'll be an
Preparation.
important
Yeah.
part of it. And as usual, we're anticipating all 3 days,
Yeah, probably all 3
all 3 days.
Yep.
What kind?
Well, we'll have like typically an hour to, or probably about an hour for each department.
Mhm.
And then with the CIP and personnel discussions, which are usually separate, we have another, at least an hour
Mhm.
or so.
So spread out between the 3 days?
Spread out.
Yeah, it's what we
between the
usually,
three.
it's what we usually.
And we'll start working on the schedule. Steve can send out some invites for different time periods.
Okay,
We have an upcoming department head meeting next week. And we'll make sure everybody's availability and then we'll get you guys the possible dates and times.
super.
Excellent, all right.
The seventh,
Afternoon.
the seventh, I'm gonna do this meeting by Zoom.
Okay,
That's what we're,
yep.
yeah, we're scheduled at 3 o'clock on,
Yep.
on the 7th. Okay,
okay.
all righty. Anything else, on admin? You guys got your, town, .gov accounts straightened out? You were having some
No.
problems before?
I don't even have one.
Still don't, okay.
No, I just, yeah, I mean, yeah. not
I'll
yet.
have Steve check.
Yeah, you should really fix that as soon as possible because your personal computer then becomes liable for anybody in a lawsuit or anything, they can come take
Yeah,
it,
no, I just need to know how to forward.
Yeah,
figure it out.
I don't.
Steve. Contact.
Yeah, I'd follow up with that.
Yep.
Okay, see, did we hit all the departments? I think we got everybody, yeah?
Mhm.
Don't wanna leave-
Well,
Water,
water and sewer,
water, sewer, right,
water, we've got,
Yeah.
they're all at the end of the.
right, I noticed that,
Full
but
business.
we'll carry it, all right.
Yeah.
And speaking of water and sewer, I see we have abatements.
Yeah, again, you've given me permission to approve them, but to complete the paperwork for the audit, I do need a vote in the minutes and a signature on the form that you're in agreement with what I've granted
Okay,
as the abatement.
total of $22.95.
I know, they're huge. Sorry to bother you.
Great. All right. So I'll make a motion to approve the abatements totaling $22.95 for the water and sewer. I'm just making sure, is there a date I should throw in that as well?
The date should be at the top.
10/24,
Yep.
10/24,
Yep.
2023.
Second,
All in favor?
I.
Aye. Okay, oh, here we go.
Official signature now.
Official, on the official lines.
On the official lines.
Okey-doke. All right, moving along, so. Now we get to the exciting and fun stuff, the transfer station update. So I understand you guys have been working diligently in the hours issue we have.
Mhm.
So have at it.
Yes, so, hearing a lot of the public's concerns and, talking with the staffing that we currently have. There is a schedule, we will post it online, so that you approve, so that way it also has holiday hours, what days and everything that people can see. But, starting Sunday, it will be Sunday, 9 AM to 5 PM. And then it'll be Tuesday, 8 AM to 6 PM. And Thursday, it'll be 7:30 AM to 3 PM. And that'll be the schedule moving forward.
So this was accomplished by getting some overtime.
Overtime for one of the staff
We agreed
members.
to do some
and,
overtime to help us.
And adjusting the times on Sunday for the staff person that does Sundays. And then Megan has worked with the other staff so that if the primaries for those 2 days are off, we're sure that we will have
There will be somebody.
coverage behind them.
Can you say the
So-
Sunday time again?
Sunday will be 9 AM to 5 PM.
I think
And-
that helps because a lot of kids are in,
Mhm.
a lot of families are in programs
Yeah.
and that don't get out until 3:30.
And the thing, we wanted to be open early enough for those who are leaving early. So we were limited to 8 hours on that day. So that's why we picked 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And not something like 10 to 6, because then we miss people who want to leave early. So, and we're finding, we are tracking every
Yeah.
day that we're open. We're tracking by hour how many people are coming in, and we're not finding many, less than 10% of the users are coming in the first hour. So being open 8 to 4 on Sundays, or 8 to 3:30 on Sundays like we are now, that first hour is not very used.
I can
So,
tell you personal use, I put this with getting the mail and I know the mail's not in the mailbox at 8. So
Yeah.
I wait until the mail's been put in the mailbox.
well, but I'm talking about Sunday specifically.
Oh.
That's why we changed it and moved it back an hour so that we'll have good coverage early in the morning.
And you mentioned you're gonna put this on the website.
We are gonna put it on the website.
And it's gonna be confusion on November 11th. It is a holiday.
So
So
the other thing on,
Well, it shouldn't.
It's a
okay,
Saturday.
so
November
the
11th.
11th is a Saturday, so we're not open anyway.
Right.
Right.
But for those holidays where it is so this year, the observed day for Veterans Day is the 10th. That's a Friday.
Right.
We're not open anyway.
Right.
So there shouldn't be any problem with Veterans Day.
Well, there's confusion because the website says on a holiday weekend, it will be closed Sunday and open Monday. So
Well-
this is it's not that.
We can
day.
fix that
So
language with
what-
this new.
Yeah, we'll
these
fix the
new
language
hours.
with the new hours, and we will have a calendar. I talked to Steve.
Yeah.
We will have a calendar that is separate from the town calendar. Haven't figured out exactly how we do that yet. But there will be a place where people can go that every day we're open, and the hours that we're open will be posted from now until the end of 2024.
But in the
Okay.
meantime, we'll post a PDF so people can.
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
and we are adjusting for the Thanksgiving holiday period and for Christmas and New Year's holiday weeks, when everybody is here. We are adjusting the days that we're open and moving them around so that we're closed on the holidays, but we do not ever have more than 2 days in a row where we are closed. So there
And you
will
also,
be,
you
and
also
we
have,
added,
based on
we added
historical.
an extra day
Right.
of coverage after
Right.
Christmas, so that
Based
we
on the
can
history.
take care of all of the trash that is.
So right now, the 23rd of,
Yep.
so Thanksgiving, it will be closed, but that Friday, the day after,
It will be open.
7:30.
Yeah.
It'll be the Thursday hours.
This
It'll
would
be the
neat
third.
to have.
Yeah.
If not the calendar, at least a PDF.
Yeah.
We'll definitely get the PDF.
Because
Yeah.
This is the biggest complaint. I'm sure you guys are hearing it too. That they don't
Yeah.
know,
Right.
especially when
So-
the kids don't know.
So we're closed Christmas Eve and Christmas,
Mhm.
but we're open the next 3 days.
Yeah.
Okay, so that will get coverage.
Another important thing, I have been in contact with DES a lot and a lot of different groups of DES to make sure that this is truly what is allowed to be moving forward. Brush is not considered solid waste. So.
So we can divorce that
it
completely.
can be
With,
divorced.
yeah, and we're working out how
How to do that. Okay,
But
great.
Right now, we'll open the gate at 7:30 AM on Wednesday. And when we leave for the day at 3:30 PM, it will close
You're talking the brush part.
for the
Brush.
brush. So
Awesome.
you will no
Yeah.
longer have to make appointments.
You will not have
for
to make
C&D,
appointments.
for
Great.
brush.
Yeah.
You can just show up Wednesdays to drop off the brush,
Mhm.
as long as it's under 5 inches. If there's anything over 5 inches found, it will get closed. And we will evaluate from there
How
to
to do
see what to do moving forward.
So, and again, we'll do an announcement about that and what the limitations are. And as long as people abide by it, then we'll leave it open. The, so, and we talked about another staff member, specifically for solid waste. Depending on how that goes, this can continue to evolve, but we are trying to abide by.
Yeah, I think
what
it will
people
evolve. I mean, that
comments.
was from
Yeah,
the very start. We said
exactly.
we'd be moving as
And
needed.
so what we did was we extended the Sunday hours as people requested,
Mhm.
doing it later. So
Mhm.
that people that are skiing can, use the station before they leave. We extended the hours one of the weekdays to cover the people that work and need extra time at the end of the day. And we opened earlier one of the days, so people on their way out of town can drop off at 7:30.
Good.
So we're trying to,
Is there a way that we can inform people at the site?
Right.
I mean,
like
I don't think a lot of people
laminated
go
sign.
online and look at the town website.
So I have made flyers. There's one in my office. I believe I sent it. It's in the public works folder, so I don't know if we can pull it up on the screen. But I did already make a flyer to be able to, I was waiting until after today to start passing them out down at the transfer station. So Sunday, Jen will pass out the flyers for the new hours when people are coming in, so they
That's
are
good.
aware.
Yeah.
What about like a sandwich board or something?
Yeah, or like a laminated sign.
So
or-
when somebody drives up on a Saturday, they can see.
They can come back the next day.
Right.
No,
Or
we're
they can see,
doing-
So we're also-
here's the schedule for the month.
we're doing,
Oh,
the month.
Yeah, like a magnetic board.
Yeah,
And
right.
Put numbers on it, like, and put it behind the sign, put it behind the fence, so we can't get.
Well,
Well, I'm
I
thinking,
put it so
we'll-
it's really visible, not
Yeah.
against the building or anything, because there's all this other writing on the
well,
building.
we're doing larger signs with the new hours. And we will post them up there. And then during the holiday periods, we'll have a change sign. I want to have a sign that's got the regular
Standard-
hours,
standard
because those are 90% of the calendar
right.
is going to be those hours.
I
And
mean,
we
it
are
could be this
getting-
week.
Yeah, and
This
we'll do
week,
some,
we're open, blah, you know.
we will we'll do some sort of signage that is specific to the holiday weeks. That say, starting on Sunday for the next 2 weeks, here's when we're open.
I think it's especially important since we're varying the hours by day.
Yeah.
So, some days you get there at 7:30 in the morning, you can get in, but
Right.
other days you can't, or some days you can go till 6
Well,
at
that's
night.
why we're doing
I'll
the
look
new
at
signs.
sign.
We're doing new signs.
Yeah.
that have
Put your schedule on our rec department calendar, then you could provide a QR code that you just push, and then they're updated live. Because if there's changes, it's updated live there, and there's only one spot, and you're not constantly making new flyers.
Okay, we'll take all of this into consideration. I want to make sure that we have a system that we can maintain properly.
Right.
I don't want to make it too complicated because that's just going to confuse people. So we are updating our signs. I think it's great that holiday weeks, we put up a special sign.
Yeah.
That say what the changes are.
Mhm.
I think the QR code is a great idea. It's a good way to, yeah, we can put it on all of our social media and websites. And then we'll have a separate page that will have the calendar. Click here for the updated calendar. Boom. You got it. So we'll work out the details of that,
Mhm.
but thank you. Those are all great ideas.
Can I make a couple comments on the various calendars?
Mhm.
I'm okay with November. Can I make a
Okay.
comment on December?
Sure.
The December 23rd, the Saturday, I'm wondering why that's not keeping consistent with the Sunday on December 24th.
Because
holiday.
it's
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, and generally our usage. Across a lot of our town services is not a lot of use on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. They want it before and after, and that's why we've moved.
Yeah.
The times around.
And then, in January, MLK is the 15th,
Mhm.
so that would be a 3-day weekend.
Okay,
So wouldn't the 14th move to the
the
15th?
14th would move to the 15th. But we'll,
I think communications is really important. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think it's
Yeah.
great, I think it's great what we're doing, but we just have to communicate it, because otherwise people like Mike are gonna, come in and,
Not this mic, that mic.
yeah,
different Mike.
yeah, and we'll figure out what to do with the 16th, so.
Just
Okay.
one quick comment. I don't think, trying to find a calendar, all this, just having a PDF that is current.
Mhm.
They're easy to generate, it's just there. I don't think it has to be some elaborate thing on the website.
Right.
PDF is fine.
Well, and can we do a Google business page for it? Just like, I
Not
don't
with our current website. It doesn't interface.
oh, okay.
I think flyer at the post office that catch a lot of people there.
I think,
That'd be huge.
That would be key.
Well,
People,
the post office doesn't get weekend people because they don't collect. their-
no, I know that, but
we'll work
But I
out,
think that,
communicate it.
I think flyers in certain places are gonna be the best. For people who don't wanna go to a website or
That's
open a
also-
QR code, that's all.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
we'll work on it.
in our experience with QR codes, some people cannot use the QR code.
Yeah, we'll figure out different ways
We
to
learned that
communicate with
through our
different people.
prototype.
Yeah,
So we're gonna put a tiny URL or bit.ly
Yeah.
underneath this, so people that.
you can click on a
Can
hot,
just
a
click
hot link.
They just type that in to see what.
Yeah, okay.
Just some information.
Right, well,
Trash
we will continue to move forward,
A link that
changes.
just says trash. can.
Good progress.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
no,
that-
that's really great.
that thing, I think
You're able to
was-
get that figured out.
Mike White who's agreed to do the overtime, right?
On a regular basis.
On a regular, so
and-
that was a big help.
And one other thing that I just want to have out there for everybody. All of this is weather dependent.
Yeah.
So these are still the same people that are on our plow crews. And weather can shut these times down or change these days.
Right.
So
Make
a
sure
big
there's
snowstorm,
Sign that says.
there
All the
will be.
signs are
Yeah.
active.
Yeah, so all of what we just talked about, if there's a 2-foot snowstorm, everything's out the window until we get it cleaned up.
Can't take out your trash when
You
there's a
can't
blizzard.
break out your
Just
trash
don't
when there's
do
a
it.
blizzard.
Will, if you have not seen already, the layout of the transfer station will change slightly.
Hmm.
It is giving us access. We broke the transfer station off from the DPW building, so that way our plow trucks have easier access in and out in emergencies. That will be the layout moving
So
forward.
the fencing, you've moved the
Yes.
fencing around.
The dumpsters will move slightly, just so
Mhm.
traffic wise, when there's contractors coming in for C&D and residents, they'll be offset slightly, so that way it makes it easier for residents to be able to toss their trash, get out, and contractors be able to toss C&D and stuff like that and get out.
Sure, whatever works operationally.
And there will be, we are renting part of the other cost of making these changes
lights.
is the lights.
Yeah,
So we are using solar powered mobile lights. That will be used for the later times.
Right.
okay,
It'll be getting dark by 4 o'clock here next week.
Yeah, the earlier. and
Yeah.
later.
so we're renting those?
We are renting them for the interim.
Okay.
And I think we'll probably be renting them until we have the definitive
Oh, where we're
final
going.
approval of everything from DEO.
For our permanent.
Okay.
So that
station,
could be a
right.
year,
Hmm,
so.
okay. How
I
much
mean,
are-
the summer will not be an issue.
It'll just be for-
No,
It'll just be for the winter,
time,
Basically
for
November
6 months,
through
6 months
for 6
probably.
months,
November
and
through
then
March.
about $9,000
Yeah.
For the solar.
And that'll be included in the 24
Budget.
request.
Okay. The one,
First,
yes, sir.
I need to run to a meeting.
Mhm.
I'm very interested in the Route 49 bridge work update, if we could, I don't know how long that is.
There's
but-
there's a meeting at 6 o'clock at the Thornton Town Hall. Where DOT
I don't think it's happening.
Did they cancel it?
It's not on any of the Thornton Town websites. It's not on DOT site, so I don't know where that. I don't think it's happening.
They're staging equipment already.
And you can see actually where they kind of outlined some.
Well,
stuff
Nancy-
On the bridge.
Nancy is the chair of the planning board and she was noticed.
Oh, she
that it
was
was.
noticed? Cause
So-
on the Thornton website.
It isn't, okay, well,
Yeah.
maybe not, but I'm gonna go at 6 o'clock
Okay.
because they're supposed to be there to tell us
The
what's
latest
going on.
plan, right?
They have not sent us any emails, they have not called,
No.
nobody knows anything.
They've got the mobile lights
The resorts,
rigged there already,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
for the one way.
I thought it was like a year or two away.
Yeah, no,
I did too.
they've got, they've
so did
got,
I,
they've got the
until,
porta potties lined up.
Yeah.
It looks like the,
Work signs lined up, I mean, yeah.
and
it looks like they're ready
it's
to
gonna
go.
be a one-lane road, it looks like
and we
soon.
have no idea how long it's going to be, or, What?
Well,
At some point, the wigwag readers will like to know this.
yes, the wigwag
It's-
readers will know
so,
as soon as.
so
we
would the
know.
town select board
Yes,
and
so-
staff.
So would we. So would the
Hopefully at the
resort,
meeting.
Because, you know, a little
Yeah.
thing like a ski season is gonna happen and I don't know.
And
if
it's
they're
gonna be a
borrow-
one-lane road.
World Cup that's gonna take seven.
A World Cup,
here?
yes. Mhm. Yeah,
Okay,
okay,
thank you.
thanks. All right, update on the Bethlehem landfill.
Yeah,
permit.
that was the other
Um,
thing.
So, I am now part of the bigger solid waste committee.
Good.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. Bob, Mike, could you just go out a little bit?
Just send me an email.
Good. Okay, yes, Megan.
So I'm now part of the bigger solid waste committee. They also want to make me part of the board, but that's a whole separate thing. But the information that we received from the NCC really is that we have access until 26. We signed an agreement until 27 to be taken care of.
Was it
At that-
27?
It's up in the ear.
No, go ahead.
No,
You talked with James a little bit. more
Yeah,
than I have,
so the agreement can go through 1 May of 27. However, their permit only goes through December 31st of 26.
okay,
And there is a clause in our agreement that says it's one date or the other, whichever comes first. So
well,
if
that's,
their permit gets extended to 1 May, then it'll be 1 May 27. But right now their permit
Right.
runs out.
and our contract is good until.
I'm sorry, it isn't a permit. They are mandated to provide service through December 31st of 26.
At least till then,
At least till then.
but it could be potentially
It could
extended to 1
potentially
May
be, but
to 2027. And our contract, I thought our contract was a 3-year contract.
yes. That's why
So there's another
26,
date,
27, who knows?
right,
But
that we
the-
signed this year, right?
No, right, yes, it was signed in 23, in May of 23. So the issue that I'm having is the last thing that they were told by DES was that they had capacity to 1 April of 25. It's now been, I guess, extended.
Someone
through
want to
the end
stomp
of
down the
24.
trash, so there's more
I
room, or-
don't know how it's going to work.
Yeah,
So,
You
but
probably
they
don't
are
wanna know.
mandated
yeah.
by
yeah.
DES to provide service to us through the end of 26. I think the uncertainty, even at North Country Council,
Mhm.
just points to continuing to try to start a planning process,
Yes,
which
I agree.
the Pemmy Baker Solid Waste District Board has not done.
Yeah, they don't seem very concerned.
Well, it's gonna
about
leave it
They-
to us then.
Hopefully, with me attending now, it'll kind of help kickstart planning for the future.
Yeah.
And I'm planning on going to the next meeting and helping Megan say, we need some sort of subcommittee or planning group.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a
Within the-
multi-town
That's right,
contract,
it's a 14.
14
town-
total.
They were
Contract.
more concerned at the last meeting about light bulbs and what
Yeah.
to do with LED light bulbs.
Yeah, their focus just is not on the plan for the future, because whether it's the end of 26 or the beginning of 27,
It's right on
those
us.
are
Yeah.
very close dates if we have to change an entire way of doing
Right.
trash. So hopefully at the next Pemmy Baker meeting, we can start a planning process.
In the meantime, I think we should continue with our idea of putting together a small advisory group.
That's what you want to do.
Yeah, under the select board that can work with Megan in particular and whatever Pemmy Baker may or may not come up with. But at least we want to get our situation
Well, and
Normalize in
we
some
need
sense.
answers before we commit to anything at
beyond.
DS for the transfer station.
Yeah.
Right, where there is that aspect, right,
I mean, because that transfer station, the lower one,
right.
is not large enough to change the whole way we do trash.
No,
Right.
not especially we start talking about re-engaging and recycling again.
Yeah.
You know, whether we're talking also about compacting and so forth
Whatever.
and so on. And just changing potentially our whole operation, how we do things. So I've got one person who's agreed to work in this committee. I think Wendy, you seem to be interested in
Yep.
being the select board representative or
leader,
POC
slash
on
whatever.
on this. If we come up with at least 3 people,
Yeah, I think 3 or 4 people.
3 or
would be
4
good.
maybe.
Yeah.
So Rick Smith has agreed to be part of this planning group to
Mhm.
basically to monitor this and come up with some ideas for the select board going forward.
Mm.
So if anyone can think of anybody else who we'd like to approach.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't have to do it today. But
No, but I think we just need to just get the ball rolling,
Ball
getting
Sure.
3 or 4, or maybe 5 max people identified. Maybe somebody from one of the from our
Lodges.
commercial category of folks like lodges or what have you. Would be good.
Okay.
Any way you look at this, it does seem we're looking at potentially major changes in our whole operation. It's not just a matter of the landfill we go to, but how we operate here.
Yep.
We were unable to go to Wind Waste, for example, down in Concord because of the way we do our collection here. So that eliminated all of that. And I'm not sure where Ashland is now. Have you heard
They're
anything
at
further?
least 5 years out.
Because they were looking at something like
It's an
a
incinerator.
incinerator, same thing to generate
Yeah.
power.
And we can participate with them, but
They
they're not
haven't.
gonna have anything operating. They haven't even decided whether or not to move forward. And
I
then
see,
after that, they've got to do a permit application.
right.
Sure.
And then they've got to go through
Right.
whatever the process is.
Okay, so this isn't happening before 26.
No.
Yeah.
I can't imagine unless the state fast tracks it because of
Mhm.
Bethlehem, but.
Hmm.
Okay.
As an incinerator, I can't imagine it's gonna be an easy application process for them.
All righty, anything else on transfer station? Questions or anything else you'd like
Bob,
to?
anything else? Okay,
moving
can we
on?
do down to the road project first?
Sure,
Well, for the transportation, station, we are, from last year, we're down 10 tons.
Oh, yes, that's at the
Uh,
bottom. of this.
From last year for the entire town for municipal solid waste that was done. So, and also
for October.
for October, that's
So-
just for October. So we are down 10 tons. I know it doesn't.
Is that just, 10 tons here or 10
it's 10
tons
tons for the entire town.
for the entire town? That's interesting.
And I mean, previous years did include anything that was dropped off at the red shed. Mattresses and things like that, but now.
Makes you wonder where that's other 10 tons may have been coming from.
So
now
we,
with the restrictions and everything that we do have down there, people are actually paying to drop mattresses, TVs and things like that off. And so we have. seen a
Industrial
little bit more
recycling.
Influx in C&D, just because all that stuff is actually going where it's supposed to versus into the landfill.
so we've been averaging about 67.5 tons per month. Okay, if it were straight. I mean,
Right,
it
I
goes
know.
like
Yeah.
this,
Right,
but
right.
average is 67.5. So if we're 10 tons down for the month, we're 1/7 of down. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Can't-
how much
I
we
don't
pay a
know
ton
that.
up at Bethlehem?
So 14% down.
Mhm.
And I
The
have all-
Bethlehem
I have all the numbers for.
80 or
tonnage
90.
And
Yeah, it doesn't have to be, I
It's
just,
a lot.
so it's like $80,
Well-
$90 a ton.
We'll work out the numbers.
It'd be interesting, especially for, next year.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna continue to track it on this
Oh, yeah,
through the end of the
Yeah.
year.
okay, I think
Okay,
we have
so
moved on
road-
to the road project.
Oh.
The paving's done.
Paving
Let's
is-
start with good news. Paving is,
done. There will not be a top coat on it this year. It will happen in the spring.
so the
Okay.
paving that has happened is it for this year.
Okay,
They still have work to do on the road edges.
Mhm.
And, there's still cleanup, which will happen through probably the end of next week. They'll still be working on the edges. But for pavement on Snows Brook Road,
from
It
village
is
to village,
village to village.
right, the
it
whole
will
thing has been
stay the
paved
way that
across
it is. It has been paved all the way
to
across
include a
with
multi,
a binder coat.
right,
So it's just a winter binder. The top coat is the last 1.5
mm-hmm,
of material to make it very smooth. That will not be put in until the spring. The paving has been done to the manholes and water shutoffs, so
Mhm.
it's all level. And it will be striped
Oh, well,
before,
okay.
it will be fully striped before Piper leaves.
Okay.
and this
Okay.
includes the multi-use path,
Multi-use path, everything, yep.
so
So what's
By
the,
what
the
happened?
yeah, what's the winter binder?
It's the type of pavement, it's just a
tougher.
different,
Okay, so it'll hold up to the plowing.
it's the
and-
base coat that they put on.
Yeah.
Okay,
They just not putting the finish coat on.
but it still holds up.
It'll still
for
Oh, yeah,
all
it'll
the
still-
Abuse and the
it's
salt
tougher
and the
than-
whatever.
Tougher
Will there
than-
be a little lip like for when you go from there on to Boulder?
No,
Path?
they're
No,
gonna,
they
they're gonna
did.
make everything flush.
Yep.
Yeah. They're gonna make everything flush. And that's what we didn't want, is any kind of lips because of plowing.
Yeah,
So everything will transition into the existing pavement. And then when they come back in the spring, they'll route out those so that they can put
Right.
the finish coat on.
Also, infrared people finally showed up. Initially, they got back to me and said that they weren't gonna be able to come out here. Due to a bunch of unforeseen things and other projects that they were working on. But they were able to come out here yesterday and they'll be here till tomorrow, getting a lot of stuff done. So they did a lot of the concerns on Cascade. We'll be doing Osceola. So you'll see patches throughout the
Yeah,
town.
I've seen a bunch of them already, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So they're taking care of a lot of that stuff before winter.
What happened with the top coat?
The top coat, they just can't get it down. And this is a good call because the top coat should not be put down in freezing conditions.
Hmm.
The binder is fine, but the top coat, it needs to be warm. So this is,
So we just ran out of
this is a
time.
good call. We're out of time. And actually, I think this will also be good because it will allow us with the road marking striping down. All of the striping that we put down will be covered up by the top coat.
Right,
So and then it'll be striped again. So if we want to make changes to whatever the markings are, at least for this section of
we could-
Snowsbrook Road, we have some flexibility.
So really, the drivers or pedestrians gonna see any difference?
There will be no
'Cause I drove, I
difference,
didn't, yeah.
No.
It's just missing that last,
the last
the
inch
top
and a
bit.
half, the top. Yep. So won't make any difference with,
Truly no roads, you would. follow.
yeah, and
right,
yeah, and the plowing will be, I was concerned because they have to raise the the rings on the
Right.
manhole
Right.
covers
Yeah.
and all of that. Before they put the top coat on, so at least they made this decision prior to doing all that work.
Mm.
And so we won't have any lips,
Mhm.
so we shouldn't have any plowing issues. We will get, in addition to the finishing the drainage and the cleanup on the edges, we will get, what was I just gonna say? I completely lost it. I will think of it in just a minute.
Well, we'll be here a little
We'll
while
be
longer.
here a little while longer.
Little-
Give me,
little-
I got ahead of myself and I completely lost that thought as I was gonna get ready to say it.
How's it gonna work?
Oh,
Tara?
I
Go ahead.
remembered,
Yeah.
please don't let me.
No, no,
forget
go,
it again.
go.
The parking on the,
Yeah.
Golf,
golf
golf course side,
course side
right,
will be done as part of the cleanup. So that will be in place and we'll get the signs moved over from one side of the road to the other.
so it'll be in place for tubing season.
It'll be in
basically.
place for tubing season, and I've
Right.
talked to Craig about that. He's happy with the
Okay.
change and.
Yeah, how far down is that parking gonna go from Lost Pass? With
It'll
with
start-
10 cars,
it'll
10,
start
12,
probably-
something like that,
Yeah, probably about 20 feet away from the intersection.
right,
And then it'll go down to where the fire hydrant is. There's a steep drop off.
right,
There'll be a break in there,
right,
probably about 75 feet or so,
To give access.
to give access to the fire hydrant.
right. of course.
And then we'll pick up probably 3 or 4 more spots up to the Boulder Path intersection. So,
All right, well, let's see how it works.
Yep.
All right,
removing delineators.
We wanna talk about the other.
Yeah, I will, talk about delineators first, and then we'll go into others,
So,
roads.
guess they're getting unsticky, some of them,
The pad that was on it initially, we didn't foresee to stick very long just because. Of the freshly painted lines, there are glass beads that are on there, those come up easily once you stick something down onto it. But they are coming up now, it wasn't a permanent pad, like future one. I don't say permanent, but like a 6-month pad that we're
Mhm.
looking at. We will take them up either tomorrow or beginning of next week. I just wanna get everybody's thoughts from the town and see cumulatively what the look was for everybody and how everybody felt about it. So that way for the spring, we have all of the feedback to move forward with either putting them down more or less.
I thought they could have been spaced a little bit more. I thought we had more than we needed. I don't know, that's just how it struck me.
Okay,
yeah, I mean, I think we look at, I mean, we look at it, come at it again with fresh eyes in the spring, just to.
okay,
It did seem to me as well that when I looked at it, wow, I know we had gone back and forth and on the distance between them, and there was some solid reasons why we ended up being a little closer than I think.
yeah, I'd like Patrick and Dave.
We can have
to be
that
a part of
discussion in the
this
spring and
conversation.
decide how we
Yeah.
want to. I'm not so much worried about the aesthetics of it as I am the usefulness of it,
Yeah, safety. yeah.
safety, yeah.
Yep.
so.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that's impactful is coming into town and just seeing that line of them right off to have that traffic calming and awareness effect. And yeah, I
Yeah.
agree, we probably could have fewer, but
Let's look
you
at
know,
it,
whatever, yeah, public safety says, I think,
is where we go.
yeah.
We did put up the pedestrian crosswalk sign.
Yep, saw them.
Share the road sign. We plan on doing the no through truck sign. as
On
well,
Tecumseh?
trip line,
Great,
that-
Tecumseh.
Sorry, Tecumseh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Within the next week or two, we just got the post we had run out initially. And we are changing a lot of the old stop signs and stuff for public safety as well to be that DOT standard regulation signs, so.
Good. Just getting back to the top coat, how's that gonna work contract wise?
The contract will stay open.
And that's just that portion of it.
A
the only
perfect
thing left.
segue into my next thing
Well, which
is
that's where I was
to
going with
do
it.
the, right now Megan and Bill Dower.
So
are
Piper
going-
comes back,
Yes, Piper will come back to finish the
And-
current contract.
right?
Bill and Megan are gonna go around and prioritize roads. We'll come back at the next meeting with recommendations for engineering work that can be done over the winter. And then I would recommend, if you're okay with it, doing a contract amendment on the existing contract, because it will still be open. And then bring Piper back in to do
Whatever we
roads
decide, right?
we decide
Right.
we're gonna pave.
Do we want to do that? I'm sorry, Wendy, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask how that would work in conjunction with the TAP grant.
But
And
it's
is it-
still, that's totally separate. It'll be totally separate. Whatever we do with the TAP grant
Yeah,
will be a completely new contract, a completely new set of plans
okay,
and everything. It has to be done by the TAP standards.
sure,
So
okay,
there'll be a whole bidding process for that and everything.
okay.
So,
So,
and what I would.
so that sounds like, from what you're saying, then you couldn't extend the contract with Piper if it was like Boulder Path and you wanted to do use TAP funds.
That's correct. Any road that we pave using the TAP funds will not be part of a contract amendment. Our intent right now, again, we're waiting for the engineering to come back on Snows Mountain Road and
Isn't it due
so
about
we
now?
can, it's due, I think I think tomorrow,
Right,
for the water sewer lines.
Right.
And mid-November for the,
Right.
Corcoran's Pond. So we're getting those very soon. But I would like to have Bill and Megan do their walk around, come up with recommendations. Take the information that we get from the Snows Mountain Road water sewer lines so
Mhm.
that we know what we're
Mhm.
talking about with Boulder Path Road.
Right,
And get to the end of making the payments for the work that's been done this year
mhm.
and find out what we have remaining in funding. And have a single meeting about roads.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
That's
think I'd
not
rather have a special
regular
meeting, not to tack it on to our 5
that's
o'clock meeting
yeah,
Yeah,
in November, but there's no great hurry, right? We can do this
we can do it later in November, but I would like
later in
to-
November.
I would, because I want to make sure that what we're asking for, if we ask for anything more in road funding
For the,
for
right,
twenty
that's where I was
twenty-four,
going.
we're asking for the correct number.
right.
So,
Do we wanna, let's just get it on the calendar, right? Do you wanna have a special meeting to discuss
I'm.
a road
I'm
project
fine
for
with that.
24? Yeah, Bob, are you okay with that?
Yeah.
I just don't wanna do it
Fine.
like at 5, yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
bye.
Just tacking it on to a 5 o'clock meeting, I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of questions and really
Mhm.
issues, so. When do you guys think you'll be done with your walkabout and think through what you wanna recommend?
We have a list already.
Okay,
so you've already done
I've already done
it.
it.
all right,
There we go.
very good.
And I have the list that Bill and I have made for years. to come. So
The
a
out years.
multi-year-
The out years, yeah, no, actually, that would be a good part of it, have to be a part of this discussion.
Mhm.
And hopefully we'll get the information from the engineers. So that's one thing we're still waiting on,
Well,
right, for
that
the
is.
Snows Mountain
and
Road.
So I wouldn't want to schedule anything until
Yeah.
the week of the 13th,
Okay,
so that we're sure we get
Yeah,
right,
let's just wait till we,
that and then set the date.
Yeah.
But are there any days a week of the 13th that do not work for people?
I have probably just an hour-long meeting on Wednesday, the 15th, like 2 to 3-ish, but otherwise,
Okay.
I'm happy to come.
That's our department head meeting anyway.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Completely open Friday, the 17th, if we wanted to give ourselves, gives us a couple weeks to get everything in. Does that Friday work for everybody or anybody? Not
great.
good? All
Fridays are
right.
Tough for me.
Forget Friday.
All the other days are good.
It's Tuesday,
Tuesday.
Monday, Tuesday, I can do. Tuesday, it would have to be in the afternoon.
Yep.
Monday.
Monday afternoon,
Monday the 13th,
in the afternoon.
looking now. Depends what time in the afternoon. But yeah, I mean,
First Tuesday afternoon, just easier.
there's less complication for me because I need to pick Helen up. She's returning from a flight, so if the flight's delayed or anything, but no, Monday or Tuesday afternoon, 13 or 14 should work. Tentatively, is that tentatively okay for you, Bob?
Yep.
Wendy?
Yeah, the 14th would be easier, but.
All right,
I could make
14th 's fine.
I could make either work. if-
No,
if that-
14th,
I'm
14th.
sorry, was your flight on Monday or Tuesday?
She's coming back on Monday, but so I would, that way, I don't, gives me more I prefer the Tuesday too.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just to, you never
All right.
know with flights and all
Yep.
this. kind of stuff.
absolutely.
So Tuesday
Fourteenth.
the 14th, I am available. I can do it anytime. I have to be down in Concord in the morning, but I'll be back.
We want to do 1 p.m. That way it gives us ample amount of time to be able to discuss and answer questions.
Tuesday, the 14th at 1 p.m.
Sure.
Bob?
Yep.
Oh. Well, we can skip having a town core working for this one, yeah. Okay. Yes.
We can go to that first, then come to our meeting. You can push ours back a bit if you want.
That is okay.
So that's 11/14 at 1 o'clock.
Yep.
Special meeting on roads.
Yep.
And then next year and beyond.
Yep.
That's fine. Good. So that was,
So one more
You have-
thing, is, Golden Heights Road. The way that the contractor has paved out.
So they-
From,
They sloped down into our road.
yeah.
right,
About
this is the upper,
The
you're talking
upper-
about the upper,
The upper way.
Yep.
upper drive, whatever that, what's the formal name of that? Is that got a formal name, that road?
Bull Hill Way.
Bull Hill.
That's right, so that Bull Hill is the actual
Entrance into. the-
entrance, the road, the one we see is just
Nothing,
nothing, it's just a
driveway.
driveway, okay.
So they came out into the road about 2.5 feet. Which has created a bit of a hump and it's causing issues drainage wise and also snowplow wise. So there's a couple of options that Mark has been speaking with them about on what to do exactly.
So we can't keep it this way.
So we cannot keep it this
Okay.
way because it's either
Fine.
gonna ruin our plows or we're gonna rip it all out.
Right.
We could ask them, tell them, whatever, to take out the hump. But the problem with that is the driveway will then come down. And kind of the same problem that we were gonna have between the bike
Yeah.
multi-use path and Snows Brook Road.
Mhm.
We're gonna have a very hard seam and it's gonna create probably icing coming out onto Golden Heights Road. So what we would recommend is that the money that they would spend in taking out that hump and redoing their driveway slope in,
Mhm.
that we have that combined with town money and we redo Golden Heights Road with an overlay that is properly crowned so that we can get proper drainage on the road. And we raise it up a little bit so that the transition is smoother with their driveway entrance on Bull Hill Way. That has the added benefit that we can cover a cut that was made in Golden Heights Road to do fiber optic installation. They tried to core under the road so that they didn't have to cut it, but it did not work. The coring did not work, so they had to cut a trench. And there's a patch on Golden Heights Road.
And
So
they, do you mean the developer? Or
no,
you
no,
mean
the
installer or
Spectrum
Okay.
did it. And that's a normal way. They tried to do it without cutting the road. But, and they communicated very well with us. It wasn't a surprise.
Okay.
But in order to have the fiber optic upgrade, we
Understand.
allowed them to cut a trench. So basically what we would do is pave from the turnoff there at Moose Crossing. What is it called? Moose Crossing? I think the 3 condos that
Up
are
at
there.
the top in the road, that new road they put in to go to
The
the
new road that
homes
they put in to put to the new homes,
in.
we'd go from there
down.
down to the end. It would be pavement wise, it would be about $8,000
Yeah, 8 and
between $7,500 and $8,000 for the town. About $3,000 to $4,000 for the developer. So they
Golden,
would
right,
be
of the villas.
sharing. There would be some additional costs that Piper is working up right now for the road edges and the finish work on it.
How are they gonna do it if we can't pave the,
It'll be binder coat. It won't have the top coat on it. But they will come in. Walcott has already agreed to bring, it's a very small section of road, and they agreed to bring in additional binder to do it over the winter. I think in the long run, and then they'll top coat it when they top coat Snowsbrook. In the long run, we won't have to worry about Golden Heights for years. All of the development has happened now on that road. We're gonna take care of the trench cut that's in there because that will settle. And we get rid of this issue drainage wise. I'm really worried about the way that
so
comes
the
in.
issue came about by the development.
Yeah.
The development did not.
I mean, why should we be paying $8,000 for anything
Yeah.
as a town?
Oh, no, but that's the off road.
The $8,000 is not for what happened with the development. The $8,000 is the rest of the road, which is ours.
Yeah, but we wouldn't have to do that if they hadn't screwed up the entrance to their property.
Yeah.
Well, yes, we would. Eventually, we're going to have to repave that road.
Well, not now, though.
Okay,
Well, so the issue is that we're going to tell them that they have to.
they have to fix
Fix
their
it.
part, and we can go back to them, we can tell them just fix it. And that's what I'll do if you don't want to spend any money on it.
Well, what was their plan? I mean, did they have a plan that someone just did incorrectly, or did they have a poor plan?
I think they have a poor plan, and the type of material that they are putting down with this pervious pavement. That's the other thing.
Oh, sure.
This area that comes out onto the road is pervious pavement.
That's where
And
you
they are
get the
going to
ice.
have to put in impervious
I gotcha.
pavement on, so what they can do this. They just take out the pavement that they installed and they put the road back the way that it was before they cut it.
So what you're advising or proposing is, why don't we use this as an opportunity to
Yep.
deal with Golden Heights
Yep.
Road
Yeah,
and just basically take,
takes out the other issue of the cut that we were
Right.
not expecting.
Right,
until Spectrum got up there a few weeks ago and did the trench cut. Take care of that issue as well. And we check Golden Heights off of the list
of
for
road work.
road work.
No,
Because
that-
we're going to put Golden Heights Road on our list of roads to do if we don't do it right now. It's going to still be on the list.
What about the part of the road above there? Is that
It's not the road, it's not the road, it's not a
It's not
road,
towns.
it's private. That is private. That is not our issue.
So this section of pavement that we'd be doing is all of the town's road
Towns Road,
in that
correct.
whole stretch.
Yep.
Well, and that would be putting their money to better use. Then if we took, because if they're gonna
And-
fix
and
it,
we would
but
100% know that done correctly.
right. Right,
And-
Also, the kind of, if we have them do it, we may still have to come back and do it anyways, because it could be done incorrectly.
Well, yeah, it's going to remain on our road repaving priority list at some point down the road, so to speak.
can we get them to contribute a little bit more? Given that they're made it an
Well, they're
issue?
accelerating our repaving is
Yeah,
what they're doing.
right,
That's all they're doing from my perspective. If they pay for that section of road that was impacted by Bull Hill Way.
Hmm.
If we want to wait, that's fine. We'll put it on the priority list to be paved at a future time. And we'll tell them that before the winter, they have to repave it.
is Piper available to do the work
Yeah.
now?
They had Walcott look at it today. And they said that they can do it.
So by doing this, the developer would be paying about 30% of the cost of redoing.
That's the rough numbers. I do not have the final numbers back from Piper, but yes, that is
Right.
approximately.
Which they would pay
30%.
anyway. I mean.
Well, they're
Well, they
gonna
would
pay
should-
it anyway.
They would pay to fix it however they fix it, but then eventually we would have to go back and pay the entire amount to repave. So,
Yeah,
Yeah, right,
Fair.
I
that
I
makes
agree with
sense.
Bob. We are not, that was not on the list of roads to do this year. If we want them to put their piece back, we will tell them to put their piece back. But Golden Heights Road is going to be on the list of recommended roads to do. And if they do a crappy job, we're probably gonna recommend to do it in 2024. So it's do it now or do it in 2024. That's okay. I don't have a problem doing either one. But
I mean, earlier this week, we already agreed to spend a bunch of money to go from
Mhm.
Boulder Path up to Valley, Village Road.
no, that's
Mhm.
true.
But this is money we have to spend anyway.
Yeah,
And
we'll
we've
have to spend
got
it
road
this year.
money.
I mean, if we.
But we have the company here.
They'll
we
they'll
have
be
a
here next year
price.
too. I mean, I just,
I'm
I
fine.
think we can't keep going. Keep dipping in and adding more. We already added $50,000 this week. Wasn't it 50,000?
Yeah, but this isn't,
But that's $50,000 that we would have been doing in 2024.
plus,
And the money is already there, Bob. This is not new money. This is not money that we're spending that the town hasn't authorized you to spend for road repair.
Yeah.
These are road repairs that are outside of the plan. 100%, I agree. But what would be the goal of doing it in 24 instead of now?
Well, it wouldn't necessarily have to be 24.
Okay, so
Depends
or
on-
even
but then
25,
it gets more
what
expensive
is,
as you-
what
as
is
you go
the,
further out.
I just wanna understand what the thought process is of pushing it down the road. Or a future date. Is it to tell the town that we're doing it, or? Because they've already authorized the money, we're not asking them for any additional money. I mean. I'm trying to understand
So I mean, we authorized more than we needed this year.
So I
No,
also-
we
also
authorized
didn't
more
look
than
at
we planned. But
Right.
these are all roads that are going to be repaved in probably the next 4 or 5 years.
so
And I'm,
right now, it would cost us $8,000. If we did it next year, it would probably cost us 22,000. The year after that, it would be about 30,000 to do just that road.
and that's all I'm. And that's why I don't see the downside of doing it sooner than we planned. It's not something that we had for the 2023 plan, but we have the situation that has come up with Bull Hill
I mean,
Way.
it's been approved, but we still have to borrow the money.
No, we
No, we
already
already
have
have.
some money borrowed. We've borrowed all of the authorized money
Okay,
for road repairs.
So it would be, but the impact, I think, Bob, would be more of putting this road ahead of others, spending the money for this, rather than saving it for next year and rolling it into whatever roads we decide to do next year. It may be on the plan for next year.
It might be. I mean, we've
So-
got to look at the priority list, and that's the whole idea behind the
Right,
meeting
having a
to talk
special,
about
special
roads.
meeting.
Wasn't on the list for next year, but if it, if it stays like this, or if they do the cut and it's poorly, it will be on the list for next year.
so I mean, it's really caused by.
It is caused by that.
planning.
Yes. And
And
that's
my
100%, and that's why I think they need to cost share.
Yes, absolutely. And so taking advantage of their cost sharing and knowing that it's being done correctly, I think has a lot of value to it. So I'd hate to see them spend the money and do a crap job and then we have to pay to fix it.
Yeah,
because it's town road.
And it may be cheaper for the town now.
Right.
Well, yeah, and it's going to cost money either way. And I can't quantify, I think Megan's right. It's going to cost probably substantially more to go in and do the entire road if we're repairing the patch that they put in
Right.
right now so that we can plow the road this winter.
I mean, it's frustrating, but
It's very frustrating for us because we
right.
weren't planning on
Yeah.
doing it. And we're doing it at the last minute, but
Hmm.
it can't stay the way that it is because we won't be able to keep the road clear.
So the amount that they're
This winter.
paying, the 3,000 or whatever.
Yeah.
Is that for their portion or
That's
are they
their
actually
portion.
contributing to the,
That's
They're
their,
It's their portion and a little bit more, so it would come out into the road, so their portion would not only cut their portion out and repave, but it would repave the road in front of it and about 20 feet on either side. That's their portion that they're paying.
so you convinced that the $3,000 contributes to our portion of what we're paying?
It does, yes.
and you can even set a minimum. If you want it to be 4,000, I'll tell them that they gotta give us 4,000.
I'd rather
That's
do
what.
that. Yeah,
Tell them that.
yeah. Yeah.
No,
Doing their
I'm
work-
just
well,
saying.
since we're
because
doing the
we're
work for
doing
them.
the work because of what's
Right.
there.
And so it's convenience for them. Just give us the money and we'll take care of it.
Right.
So there ought to be a cost for that.
Absolutely.
And it gets them off the hook of making a mistake next year.
Yeah.
This year, they
Right.
themselves and us coming back and saying.
Well, that's the
"Okay,
biggest
so
thing is
again,
we know that it's going to be paved
We
correctly.
take the
Right.
responsibility.
In the long run, too.
My major concern isn't so much the cost, is because we're gonna have to do it at some point anyway. Is it, are we taking away funds that we could use on another road next year by spending the money on Golden
Yeah.
Heights this year, because we had not planned to do that,
Right.
so.
So
All right,
I just want to do it correctly and I want.
No, all those are very good- very good
going
arguments.
And, I really don't want to, I don't want to have the issues on the road during the winter.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
Good?
Yeah.
Good, all right, what do you need from us, a vote to? It's a part of the road.
yeah, it's part of the
Right.
road project. If you want to vote, that's fine. I will call Jonathan after the meeting
Mhm.
and talk to him about it, and we'll go from there.
You guys want to vote? Are we fine with just
I don't think we can
consensus
vote.
No, I'm
agreement?
fine with that if you're.
All right, I
okay.
mean, as long as we're talking the numbers, we're talking.
Well, and I don't have the
Right.
final numbers yet from Piper, so. You know, the numbers that I gave you were just the preliminary numbers that they drew up. I do not have the hard numbers.
Is it,
I'm gonna get those tomorrow.
so is it better to stipulate that they contribute 30% of what it ends up costing? Because that's about what we're talking about here.
However you wanna handle that.
So if it comes in at 15,000, they contribute 5. Just, since we're kind of doing
That
this
sounds fair.
on the fly.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about it. I wouldn't worry about it. It's $1,000 either way, probably.
If that's all it is.
I think they may feel more, I don't know if they've done any cost assessment of what's gonna cost them. I think just giving them a number,
Okay.
you're right, just give them a number if we feel comfortable with 4.
Yeah, just so long it doesn't come back that it's gonna take 18 or 20 to.
Well, then I think we're in a
I-
No,
different.
then I'm
league.
coming back to you with,
Okay.
if
We would, right.
it's substantially different than this,
Okay,
yes.
okay. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Good, all right. You had some additional paving, Bowler Path to Village.
Well, that was just the
The,
52,000 that Bob
Oh,
was
that
just
we were-
talking about to make sure that that was known. That we.
On the record, right?
We did more work.
Yeah.
We did the work from Boulder Path Road to
Right,
Village Road. And that was due to elevations, same kind of issue.
right,
To make sure that it matched in with the
Right.
multi-use path. And the board, you did individually.
agree, right.
Agree to do the additional
Right.
52,000 work.
All right, so that's now on the record, and
Yep.
I think we have to have larger contingency amounts on these road projects in the
Yeah.
future. I don't know, they seem to always come in higher.
We ran
They start
into all
digging,
the,
they find in,
all the
God
drainage
knows
issues.
what they're
that
gonna
we ran
find on
into.
Boulder Path.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll talk more about roads at our meeting on
14.
the 14th at 1:00.
Yep.
Um,
Water project.
water project, yes, sir.
We are due
Any
next week to have the load test on the generator.
They're
Still
finally
no-
gonna come.
Still no substantial completion date, but hopefully this will take care of it.
Okay.
And then the treatment plant scope of work,
Yeah.
we received it yesterday afternoon. Dylan and I reviewed it. We have 3, I won't call them major things, but there are 3 critical things that we want changed on the scope of work. So we have a Zoom meeting with Mario on Monday.
Okay.
So we will review that with him. Once he makes the changes to the scope of work, I'll send that out to all of you. One of the first things will be a overall project meeting with DES, both solid waste and wastewater. So I don't have a firm date for that yet. But the process will be get the scope of work finalized on Monday, get it to DES, they'll review it, should get it back by Wednesday. And then Mario, based on, as long as DES doesn't make any changes to it, Mario is working on the cost estimate of the scope of work right now. So hopefully by your next meeting, we'll have the cost estimate.
Do you think this is something we can handle at a regular meeting, or should this be also this is a big deal?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you want to concentrate on it,
Yeah,
then when we get it back, let's look at calendars and see if you want to have a special meeting. The scope of work document is 14 pages long,
right,
and goes through all the way up to final design, so
Yeah, I think we need a,
you're probably gonna have some questions.
all right, well, let's see what happens by next week.
Okay.
And just lay on another meeting to talk about the wastewater treatment facility.
I think that would probably be a good idea, rather than try to fit it into a.
Yeah.
A regular business meeting.
Yep.
All right. We have board concerns and directives.
Yep.
Did we get everything else?
You've got everything from me.
Um,
Correspondence.
I just wanted to confirm you had the one. Well, I guess it'll come under, we could. I guess it comes under correspondence, but just the construction on Veterans Day, or actually probably the observe, we have one request
Yeah, you got a request
from,
for a contingency. Right now, Dana White,
right,
the relocation of the road coming out of Green Peak condos.
Right.
has moved it.
Yeah.
In order to get that new road paved, he
right,
has that scheduled for the 8th and 9th of November. But he is asking, if you look at the long range forecast, it's a little iffy.
so he needs the 10th
So
potentially.
he
is-
he's asking for the 10th as a contingent date for the paving.
And it's just to pave, it's not
It's
like
just to
loud
pave.
grinding stuff or.
No, he's not reclaiming anything.
Right.
It
Thank you,
is
that's
for
the word.
paving.
Okay. I'm okay with it.
All right, so I'll make the motion to grant an exception to the construction paragraph of the noise ordinance, town noise ordinance, to allow Dana White to, if needed, continue with paving project on what is all going to be Devereaux right now, right?
Yes.
On the observed day of Veterans Day, which is Friday, 10 November.
Okay.
You have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And nothing from anybody else as far as, this is our last meeting before, okay,
Yep. Nothing else.
nothing else.
Our guys should be
Yeah.
done, thank God.
Yeah. Wendy, you wanted to talk about
Yeah.
the Golden Eagle
Pathway,
walkway?
yeah. We've, in looking more carefully at the plans and reading the deed, a lot of the language pertaining to the pathway going through Golden Eagle and the responsibilities of at the time, the Waterville Company who had granted, the easements and everything, it's all the language is very vague. Anyway, so, we're looking to kind of take the discussion out of the town core working group, because we feel like it needs to have a more direct conversation with the Golden Eagle Lodge, and Town Square, yeah, the resort, exactly, so, and of course, the town as property owners. So, because it seems like there's a push, for the town to bear more of the financial responsibility, since it is technically town land. But at least from my perspective, and I believe Mark shares his perspective, we're in the middle of two businesses. And that the Golden Eagle Lodge seems to be very willing to pay for their portion of it, but there's been some reluctance on the resort side to contribute, even though that pathway is, I'd say, 85-90% of the business goes towards, leaseholders for the resorts. Some goes just to the beach, I'll give that, but most everyone, even from the beach, will then go to Town Square. So it seems as though there ought to be some shared responsibility in that. So I was looking to send an email inviting principals from these stakeholders to participate, along with Mark and I, to try to figure out a fiscally reasonable way to move forward. So the town isn't just, I don't want to say once again and sound bitter, but once again, having to pay for the pedestrianization of this area. So, had you sent the email around or did you print out the email draft that I sent to you this morning?
Yes,
Okay,
I sent it to
Okay.
both,
okay.
both. of them.
Um,
But you may not have seen it, right? Because you're not on the dot, was it?
I saw it.
Oh,
He
it's
saw,
okay.
it. I sent it to his.
Regular address,
Mhm.
okay, okay.
So, yeah, I was looking to initiate,
Mhm.
or to take the next step in working through some of this, you know. and
Yeah, I'm
getting-
fine with it, yeah.
Is there something we can trade for our portions rather than writing a check?
Possibly,
Who would
I mean, just
Would the
like,
Golden Eagle be the ones that maintain it and they just want to have us contribute to the maintenance?
well, we're looking at that for this winter, possibly. We're still waiting to hear some numbers back from them as far as just a regular snow maintenance. What we're looking to hopefully achieve is something with grating, not grading. That would allow snow to fall through, so there wouldn't be so much, especially winter maintenance. Is the kind of initial thought that
So
came,
grading all the way down the walkway?
something along that lines. It's sort of it seemed like the best idea that's come out of the town core working group.
Larger steps with smaller
Do you ski?
heights.
Do you ski?
The
Yeah,
yeah,
Like that?
yeah,
the great
Yeah.
steps that they have up to the base lodge, something along those
Yeah.
lines.
yeah.
And so, but we obviously can't do that right now, so this would be a two-part thing. What are we gonna do for this winter? And who's gonna pay and how's it gonna be done if we put in a new stepped system that has the grates?
Right.
For the installation
year.
and the maintenance, so
Installation
the
and
permanent
maintenance.
solution. if you
That's
will.
right, the more
Right.
permanent solution.
Yes, and we'd be looking for, one of the businesses to take the lead on it. Just because that would make more sense. But it just seems like since technically since the town is the property owner, just trying to initiate and really,
Is it cost prohibitive to put some kind of a heating underneath the pathway? Glycol or something that,
there's some concern that there would still be melting onto the path and refreezing, like it just, I don't know, there was concern that as we're plowing up to the side, I mean, it's only a 4-foot wide path, and it seems like just heating that would just shunt a whole lot of water down off, because the base of that paved area is where there's a lot of issue too, so it seemed like it would just shunt the water down to create a larger hazard at the base, was the consensus of the group.
so if you do grading, you'd have to dig it out. You'd have to because if you get the grading, you have to have a place underneath it that the snow is gonna go.
No, exactly,
go to.
or build up steps higher, I'm sure we'd have to look into bringing in an engineer of some sort to. Yeah, say whether we're digging out or building up, whichever makes more sense. But kind of just looking to not hold this hot potato on the town's, as a town only, just to share.
Yeah, I mean, we could conceivably just block it off in the winter, our portion.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
If we-
and so in terms of trading for
Right.
something, it would be access to the land. So, yeah, that's all.
Well, I think as we talked about at the last meeting too, they allow us to park to go to the playground and stuff on the Golden
we
Eagle
need to-
property.
And that needs to get firmed up too. That's probably a separate discussion just with the Golden Eagle Lodge to really firm out that language.
So we get some benefit already that,
Yeah. Yeah, but just wanted to make sure it was okay with both of you to move forward.
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
the email I wrote, referred to the select board decision or opinion, which hadn't really been
We don't have
officially
one yet,
reached yet.
right?
But that we shouldn't bear the financial responsibility. The taxpayers shouldn't be the only ones bearing the financial responsibility for this path.
I agree.
And the path needs a name, but get there, because I'm sick of calling it the path.
Right. Yeah, and we
But-
probably should divorce all this from from a temporary 1 year solution, right? Just to get something.
Right,
We're
yeah.
running-
there's
run
definitely-
out of time,
No,
I
there's two
guess.
different discussions. I
Right.
think, yeah, figuring out something to patch together for this year
Right,
and,
then the more permanent solution.
yeah.
And then overlaying that is the easement we have for access,
Yeah, I think there are gonna be two easements.
two easements,
Two agreements.
two separate agreements.
Right.
Yes, because like the deed refers to the. Whatever. The Waterville Company or in town, it's this thing with interior roadway, which is.
It's undefined.
Yeah, completely vague, so. It's gonna be a bit of a process and, you know, nothing too pressing. I think we have some really reasonable people to work with at Golden Eagle.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, just
Receptive and-
find a workable solution for this
Yep.
year.
Yeah,
And then have the long-term discussions that I think is a great idea.
Okay.
Going forward, try to
Yeah.
find a solution.
move forward with that then and. We'll see where that takes us.
Okay.
Cool.
Anything else, concerns and directives? Bob, did you have anything?
Nope.
Concerns and directives, let me just run down. Have you had a chance to check, Mark, on those big safe flags that are still all up and down Snows Mountain Road?
I have not.
All right.
I'll talk to
When you get
the
a
Piper
chance.
guys. Yeah.
Just see, it's something we should pull up. There, we talked about the bridge.
Oh, the bridge, Triple I Road Depot Camp Bridge.
Yeah,
Our plan was denied by the Forest Service
Really?
what?
to redo it.
Oh.
They gave us a plan to do their way. We cannot do it their way this year. I have reached out to Brooke Brown, the Pemmy District Ranger, and asked her to call me. We would like to make some very temporary improvements. We don't want to cold patch it because we're gonna end up trying to cold patch it 5 times over the winter.
Yeah,
We want to just skim coat it with some pavement, not Walcott, not Piper, but we have a smaller company that's got to do a couple of spots for us, but we'd like to put a skim coat on there to cover up the existing holes. And then in the spring, beginning of the summer, we can go back in and implement what the Forest Service
What
has.
was there?
yeah.
Well, they want us to use different wood, different size wood. They want us to use special screws. It's gonna be a little more expensive than our solution. But at least they gave us permission to put in a wood type deck. But it
That's
is
good.
not anything that we can do this year. So hopefully Brooke Brown gives us permission to just do the quick fix over the winter. Because we can't plow it the way it is.
Right,
So,
And we'll return the material that we have bought previously and those funds. will go
and buy the
towards-
new material. Yeah, so. And they still have not issued any road maintenance agreement paperwork back to us. We've been asking them for about 6 months now. Because we can't do any drainage improvements or any improvements to Triple I Road right now. In any way, because we don't have a maintenance agreement with them and they will not. So far, give us anything back.
We can still plow though? Okay,
We're going to. plow.
moving on,
We're going to plow.
Right.
Because it's a safety issue.
yeah,
But no, technically,
there was no
that's
agreement.
part of the agreement.
jeez,
So. Again, I've asked her to.
Yeah.
Please,
I think that's like 3 issues you may have with, Brooke?
I got another one. Should I talk about it now? So on the, we've been told, we've received a letter from the Forest Service that there is a potential need to remove the existing sewer line that goes up between the treatment plant and the base lodge,
Why?
because it's apparently in our special use permit from 1988 that we entered, the town entered with the Forest Service when we installed the line. But
And that's buried beneath the water line.
that is buried beneath the snowmaking water line. And it would be millions of dollars.
All we want to do is abandon.
And all we want to do is abandon
Leave it alone.
But it apparently there is language in the special use permit that forbids abandonment of the line and requires removal. But
That's so much more disruptive.
yes, it's 100% more disruptive. Yes, and so it's not a done deal, but it is something that Brooke Brown is looking into for us. But it could be a substantial new cost for the plan that we did not anticipate. So,
And we still will go ahead with the septic system. I mean, were we gonna abandon this line anyway?
yeah, we want to abandon it.
I mean, prior to deciding to go with the septic
Yes,
system up
we
there.
were not.
We were gonna abandon this line and put a whole new line in.
That's correct. Yeah. So that is a pending issue. So we'll continue to work on it. And you know, beforehand with everybody we've been talking to up until this point, this is a new person that has raised this issue.
Right.
But everybody we've been talking to in the Forest Service up until now has agreed with us that it's much less disruptive.
Doesn't
to-
the Bicknell thrush nest along some of the trees there,
Probably.
you know?
Mhm. I'm sure the Canadian Lynx would as well if they lived.
I'd like
this
to
far.
know what the problem leaving a line there, it's there anyway.
Well, it's in the,
And-
it's in the agreement.
No, I understand that, but, and
So we keep the line active with a little bit. We have a
Yeah.
trickle,
Yeah.
a trickle that comes down at every once in a while. Not abandoning it.
Well, no, remember, we don't want to do that because of our new CMOM.
Chris, I'll call you back.
right, because then you'll have to
Because
monitor
then
that
we have to
gauge.
monitor it and we
Yeah.
have to maintain it and we have to,
Whatever.
Filled with concrete.
well, that's,
I'm kidding.
so anyway, that is a new wrinkle in the
Yeah,
treatment
I-
plant project that we're dealing with.
I think we would
Someone's gonna
fight
see the
this.
light
I
there.
think we
Yeah,
would have to
someone's
fight
gotta
this
see.
politically.
You better
if
get going. You're not
necessary.
gonna make it to Thornton.
My wife's headed to Thornton
Oh.
right now so
Oh.
that I don't have to rush down there.
Aw.
All right, well, let's see how that.
Well, and
Yeah,
she's
you're-
gonna tell me whether or not there's a
It's
meeting.
Oh, well, that'll be
She
helpful,
said it
right?
over
Okay,
there. That's it.
road project input
Nope, that's all. That's all.
is anything on?
It was everything that. we just
Anything
talked.
non-public?
I don't think so. I don't have anything.
Good. All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn our regular meeting?
So moved.
I will second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Let us know when we're
And it's